All right, what is up, everybody? What is up? Let me get that going. Hopefully they can hear me over on X. Let me make sure. They should be able to hear me on X. All right, I think they can. Sweet. What up? All right, I think I got this figured out. YouTube, can you guys hear me? What's up? Can you guys hear me? I got the space going. I got the YouTube going. Hit the like button. Repost the space. Let's get in there. Why are you crying, Coyote? You're always sad, bro.
I came in. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I mean, there was nothing. It was like no noise. I thought you like stopped. I thought you went over to YouTube for a sec. I was fixing to fucking call out Nikita.
Okay. All right. Tonight we're going to be getting into all of the FEDslop lies, the shills. These, I believe they are paid actors, right? I have been getting called names, accused of things, lied about, smeared, doxing attempts, just blatant lies for months, right? And it really kicked up into gear. Really kicked up into gear when I dropped the receipt. Literally dropped the receipt. I mean, they were really upset about that one. When I went to Panguitch, Utah, and interviewed a certain worker who said that Tyler Robinson was in there eating steak on the night of September the 10th. Really freaked them out. Like they went hard. They went hard. Well, just happened to be that there was a space with FEDsloppers last night. And I'll pull that up here in a second. There we go. And one of our favorite FEDsloppers, Paramount Not So Tactical, was in there. And he's been coming at me, or he was going at me quite hard during the whole receipt thing. And lots of them were. I mean, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. They were unhinged, losing their ever-loving minds. And I'll show you. Like, you can see all of these accounts. And you know how they know that these are like assets, right? You can see here, there's this account. This account has like 2,000 followers. You have Paramount Tactical repeating it. This account is saying that he talked to the owner of the Panguitch restaurant and that I lied. And that the owner said that I wasn't there. I didn't do the interview. The receipt wasn't real. Right. And then all of these FEDslop accounts, we got Viva La Fray reposting it. We got Rakita Law reposting it. We got Viva La Fray. Oh, Enrico and Tario. Okay. Enrico Tario is literally a Fed. Literally. Right. He worked as a Fed under the Obama administration. Anybody can look this up. Just Google it. Be like, did Enrico and Tario work for the feds under the Obama administration? It will come back yes. Actually, one of the most prolific federal assets during Obama's era. Prolific. Do you know what that means? That means that's how many times he worked as a federal asset, right? This is one of the people that the establishment is putting back out here on social media, trying to act like they are conservative or MAGA or whatever, right? It's just, we're not buying it. So yeah, definitely don't buy that guy, has whatever he's selling. So all of these accounts, I mean, it just goes on and on. The attacks, telling me that I'm lying, zero power there. You always know him. Quote, according to Mr. Perkins, that's the owner, Tyler Robinson did not eat at Cowboy Steakhouse. It has been officially verified to him from law enforcement, and he is sure himself. Mr. Perkins also addressed the receipt that has been annexed, saying that it's fake. Right? Just saying that I'm lying, saying that Candace Owens is fake. All of our favorite people are there if you're watching along. All of our favorite FEDslop pretenders. See, I told you all days ago that the receipt was fake and everything else that the Candyland cult has been pumping out. These are all federal assets and Zionist shills. Every single one of them, dude. And they accuse you of lying. Here's another one. Candace Owens and her minions just caught in a massive lie. They've been sharing photos of the receipt shown, claiming that it was the receipt from Tyler Robinson eating at Cowboy Smokehouse the night Charlie Kirk was assassinated. The owner confirmed that Tyler Robinson never ate at the restaurant. He never said that. It was just a lie. These guys are all guilty of everything they accuse you of. Every single time. Every single time. And so I confronted Gary Not So Tactical in this X Space last night, and hopefully the sound works because it was an interesting go. Let me guys know if you can hear it playing in the space. If not, I will I'll try to get it dialed in. Bottom right corner, please repost the space, comment, share, and like the YouTube, and we'll get going. Let me see if I can go.
The point he was full.
Oh,
over and hit him.
Wait.
Okay, so you can't hear it in the space, can you? Let me see. Let me see if I can get it going. It might be like doubled up for people on YouTube, so we'll see. There we go. I think I've got it figured out. And it's muted. There we go. All right. Let me guys, if we can hear it in space. Oh, why isn't it playing? It's not playing now. It glitched out. Crap, you guys. I apologize. We might not be able to play it. Just because I didn't test out this part. We might not be able to do that in here.
I can play a clip if you want.
You have the clip of him last night?
Let me see if I got that.
Well, we got it right
You
here.
talking about when you were talking to him?
I got it right here.
Bring it up.
The part that dude dies from a heart attack.
I
and
got
shit, and
blocked
you're
today
like,
by
oh.
him.
It's like, no, that's not
Blake
right.
blocked you?
He shouldn't be. It's like Lindsey Graham, bro. Did anybody kind of like, did y'all bat an eye to that? Like,
no,
oh,
my
fuck,
newest-
this is terrible. I wish he wouldn't have
It
died.
should be
Or
working
was
now.
everybody kind of like, okay, that's kind of.
Can you
I had
guys
to
hear it?
question myself on that one.
It's just one less evil in the world.
That's what I looked at. I was like, it's like Hitler dying.
So they
You've
can
got
hear
Gary
it. They
in
can
here.
hear it in.
Get into it.
On
Is this
YouTube.
something that
And he exposed that they had been lying
So
the
here
whole
we
time.
go.
Property.
Nope, I'm not talking
Actually,
about you.
let me
I'm
try
not
this.
I'm not talking
Okay,
about
well-
you being doxxed. I'm talking about, do you condone the behavior
I
of
just
the
said I don't
people
condone
that are
anyone
on your
doxing
space?
Let me try this. Let me try this.
I'm asking you, like, the
is
women
that why you
emotion on your space.
is that why you
They can hear it over
took
on
a
YouTube,
slanderous
but you
post
guys can't
about
hear
me
it in
and
space.
reposted it because you don't condone doxing anyone?
That was your
Am I a
criminal
felon,
history.
Paramount? Am I a felon?
That was
Am I a
your
felon?
criminal. That
Am
was
I
your
a felon?
criminal.
Am
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You don't
I think you're a
know.
criminal.
You
You're a
posted
criminal.
it. You
You're a
posted it.
criminal.
I can't
Am
play
I?
it. I
Wait,
can't
are
play
you
it
saying
while I
that I
have the
have a
space
criminal
going.
record whatsoever?
So I caught him
right?
lying like
Do
numerous
I have a
times. They can
criminal
hear
record?
over on YouTube. So
Why am I getting muted?
I'm
You
not
hold on a
muted.
second. I'll tell you
You
what's.
participate in all
Hey,
of the
Dilly, is it
behavior
okay
that
if I
you're
say
crying
my
about
what I got
Candace
to say real
Owens
quick?
doing.
Go ahead.
You do yourself.
Well,
No,
hold
the
on.
insinuation, and this is why you guys.
Me
No.
on your own
You're a
timeline.
liar,
It is
and what you
why
guys are
you
doing. What you
going. Why are
guys
you
are
talking
doing.
over me, bro?
What you guys.
Diligent.
I don't follow you,
You
Diligent.
said
I
You
don't know
said you
exactly what you're
guys.
bro.
saying.
You said you guys.
You said you
Yeah.
guys.
There's
That's
plenty
a
of people
general
in here that
statement.
have. There's plenty of people in here that have. 100%.
All right, hold on.
Do you see the
Well,
I'll wait for a second so we can do the space. Go ahead, Luke.
We're on all silent right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
No, I just dropped because I didn't know what was going on either.
Can you not hear me, Luke?
Well, I'll just say it because maybe he can't hear. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if you guys watched Baron Coleman this evening, afternoon, whatever. he has apparently some solid proof that something has changed with Charlie Kirk's necklace. I clipped it out and just posted it to my account a little while ago. Just a couple-minute clip that he has proof that something has changed about the necklace, and
Like
he's
how to
looking for
change.
answers. He hasn't told us yet exactly what that is, but he has proof and he's holding on to it for now, waiting for them to respond. But if you guys want to check out the clip, you can go to my page. I sent the clip to Dilly in private message. I don't know if he got it or not, but
I
it's
think he's
worth.
having technical difficulty. Hey, what do you know about this?
Can you guys
Paramount
not hear
guy,
me?
bro, with this the Department of Defense.
Can you guys not hear me?
There you are.
You've been completely silent.
Okay, I don't know why. They're probably gonna hear double. It was working fine. Anyways, what were you saying? Go ahead, Cody.
I was saying on the Department of Defense, October of 2025, it was actually 14 days after he was awarded. It was 39,000, and then it went up to like altogether, both of them equals up to almost 200,000. That's what he didn't like, and he shouldn't have. Let me go ahead and say you shouldn't have blocked me, bro, because that makes me curious. So now I'm really gonna come and fuck with you. But anyway, looking into it, I got to send a FOIA report to see exactly what he did with that money, because he went to a military place and supposedly taught some kind of or gave them some kind of curriculum or whatnot. But there's some heavy questions need to be asked right there, because that whole October thing, I know that a lot of people probably don't they don't know how to. It's a lot different when I talk more and we talk more. People over here, we like asking questions, and that's a big thing whenever in the month of the same month that he was assassinated, you get 2 awards by the Department of Defense, the federal government right there. And it's almost 200K. It's like a perfect amount for if you were going to do exactly what you're doing right now, bro. So you shouldn't have blocked me, because now I'm really, really curious with it. But that's diligent. How else do you, dude, September, it's the same month. I mean, that's not a conspiracy theorist. Like, that's actual, that's a fact right there, that guy got 2 awards, and big money, bro. Big congratulations, Paramount. But the thing is, good always wins, man. Good always wins.
So Paramount Tech, can you guys hear me? All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so it's the sound sharing add-on that I use. It's not gonna work. That's okay. All right, so everybody can hear me now. So you guys on the space are not gonna be able to hear this clip, but I'll just kind of describe it. We'll get through it as fast as possible, and we'll go from there.
Are you going to play it on YouTube? Because I can double it if you want.
There's a lag on YouTube, and so we'll be.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question real quick if I have just a second.
Sure.
Did anyone see that Jeb Jacoby went on Ian Wentz podcast and was talking about the day lead, what happened the day leading up to the assassination, about how Turning Point had told their volunteers not to talk to the media?
Okay. It looks like the YouTube is glitching out. So I was a little disappointed.
Here, and that they hadn't said anything about not talking to the media at that event, and then for some reason on this one day, they had apparently to the volunteers had said something about we don't want y'all talking to the media, and he just thought it was kind of strange. Like, who's going to talk to volunteers at a Charlie Kirk event? You know what I mean?
I'm a little disappointed that he wasn't asked about what it was that caused him to get assaulted. Right? I listened to that whole thing. Yeah, the Turning Point people told people not to talk to the media. They do that all the time. Right? And they said that we knew that afterwards, right? That they don't want people who are in Turning Point garb, but who aren't representatives or like specifically have catered messages to the media to be talking to the media. Is it weird that they said it at this event and not the previous event? It's a little weird. I am actually would rather know what it was that he was going to say that they.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Can you not talk over me? Mute your mic for a minute. Thanks. I would rather know what it was. I'm going to mute you for a second, bro. That he got assaulted over, right? The Jeb Jacoby was giving his description of what happened, and he was saying that he was looking at Charlie Kirk. He was sitting about 15 feet away, 3 rows away from him. He heard a shot. He looked to his left. He looked to his right and saw Charlie go down. Well, if he's staring straight at Charlie and he hears a shot and he looks to his left, that's not the Losi building. Okay? That is where the president's office is located and the Woodbury building. I think that's why they silenced him. Another good thing that was in that little interview was a timeline for Charlie Kirk's movements when he got there. We knew that he went inside. We didn't know previously, or I didn't know, that Charlie Kirk went inside UVU when he first got there, right? Baron Coleman pointed that out. Some other people pointed that out. But we didn't know how long he was in there for. When Blake was asked about it during one of our X Spaces, he didn't have an answer, right? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember where I was that morning. I don't remember where I was that evening. I don't remember what city I was in. I don't remember what hotel I was in. My name's Blake Neff. That's what we got. So, anyways, we now know, at least according to Jeb Jacoby, that he was in there for 2 minutes, right? So that adds to the timeline. Anyways, I want him to answer what he was going to say before he got interrupted. I watched that interview with that guy that you're talking about that Ian did, and shout out for him for getting him an interview. But the most important question to me that didn't get asked, which was, what did you exactly hear? What did you exactly see? What direction did it come from? Because you said it came from Charlie's right, your left. That's when they interrupted you. You know, are you sure about that? How loud was it? Was it a gunshot? Was it a rifle? Was it a firecracker? He said it was like a loud snap, like a log snapping in the woods. Psh, you know, that's not a firecracker. That's not a 30-06. A loud rifle crack is loud. It's and it echoes, and it's an amphitheater. So it's not like the sound is just gonna like dissipate. It's gonna crack off the walls in there. Yeah, the interview was okay, and it was pretty good. I shout out to him for getting that interview, but I think the most important question was, you know, what was it you were saying when they interrupted you? Because a TPUSA staff member, volunteer, whatever, Cooper Brown, right, who is an interesting figure to say the least. He come up and grabbed that kid, physically accosted him, manhandled him, and shut him up as that kid was telling his version of what had happened. And I want to know what he was going to say before he got interrupted. That question didn't get asked. So, anyways. All right, let me get to this FEDslop. I don't want to listen to it twice, so I will just describe for the space what's being said. I'll repeat it, and then we'll go from there.
Probably go with making all or nothing.
So you have Paramount Tactical and Blake Banderas Bednar's space yesterday. I'm a little disappointed with Blake. I ain't gonna lie. I shared my interview with George Zinn, and the very first thing Blake does is try to dox me. Knowing that I called the jail, right? He's trying to dox me. Thankfully, Utah law prohibits the sharing of third-party identification. But that's the very first thing he did, is tried to get those records and then release them, which would include my information. So now I'm even more sus of you than I already was, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so we're going to Blake Space, and we're listening to Paramount Tactical tell us why he's not the bad guy. Candace is a liar. Barron's a liar. Diligent's a liar. Everything that they accuse you of, they're guilty of. Is YouTube good? It's saying the video is bad. All right. Here we go.
Question. The all or nothing black and white thinking, though, that I constantly hear going on it's like
It happens on both sides because
I'd agree, and so I don't.
Everybody in here is an individual. Everybody has some sort of slightly different view on this, and what we're trying to do is have a group conversation so people get grouped into things. It's as simple as that. I don't know what weird thing that Diligent is pushing this
We
week.
can't
I
hear
don't know
anything
if it's
over
the
here.
exploding mic,
Yeah,
if
mute your
it's
mic,
the
bro.
French Foreign Legion. I don't know. But what I'm saying is the implication
I don't
coming from
subscribe to magic
Candace.
bullets. I can tell you that much.
Well, there's nothing magic about it. We have plenty of examples of a very
He's
similar.
he's telling me that he believes in the magic
similar
bullet.
things taking place.
Like what?
I've explained this 100 times. Well, first of all, we have Chuck Ritter. He was shot from 25 yards away with 7.62
He starts
by
to go
54,
to
which
Chuck
is
Ritter. He's
ballistically
giving
equivalent. It's the
examples
exact same thing as a
of
30-06.
historical
He was shot in
figures
the
who were
spine
assassinated
from
or
25
got
yards
shot
away,
with
deflected
30-06
downward,
bullets
and he's still
where it
alive.
didn't exit the
There's
body.
videos
He was shot in the jugular.
He wasn't shot in the jugular.
And
That's
the
what I asked
What he
examples
was
that
shot
he
was in the
gives
spine.
are,
the spine is big.
are
Like,
not
is
the
it the
same as
like
what
the
we saw
lower
with Charlie
spine, the
Kirk,
upper spine?
right? Chuck Ritter was
spine
shot
is
in the
much smaller
spine
and will fracture
from
much
top
easier.
down. He was
literally
falling.
doesn't matter.
Then he was shot.
He was falling
And the
over
bullet-
and hit him
Wait,
The
right
bullet
down the
went
length of his
straight down
spine,
his
didn't it?
spine, right? So it went
So-
through
so
all bone. It was
your claim
no
is
meat.
that we
It was
needed
just
an
all
exact
bone,
template
straight
with
down,
exactly
and
what
that's why
happened
it
with Charlie
stopped.
Kirk, the
Okay, he
exact
brings
same bullet
up
and everything else.
Gary,
What
you've
we
used
know,
that
Yeah,
same argument
as close to
in
the
reverse.
original shot
Yeah.
as possible for an accurate outcome. Yeah, Gary.
He brings
That's how
up
these work.
MLK.
100%.
well, here we go.
The
Here we
same
go. We have
conditions.
somebody that shot was 25 yards
Whenever
away.
you
25 yards
recreate
away.
something, you try to recreate the exact specific conditions.
He tries to
that
bring
the
up
event
MLK.
occurred under, right?
Okay,
You don't try
MLK's
to
bullet
take
exited
something
the
else
body.
that is
It went
completely
in,
different, very
it went back
parameters.
out,
What
it
you
went
can't
back
do, what you
in,
can't do is
bounced
you can't
around.
give me an exact
No,
replication.
I'm sorry. It went
of
in,
anything
it bounced
because
around,
What I'm
it
trying to tell you
it
right
went
now
back
is
out,
that we have someone that
and
shot
then
from
went back
25
in,
yards
and
away
then
in
caused
his
more
spine.
damage,
We have no exit
and then
wound,
came
and
to a
he's
rest
still
near his
alive.
shoulder.
So whatever you're
Right?
saying
So it
that
did
is going to
exit.
happen every single
Well,
time,
he
it's
wasn't
just
shot in
false.
his neck.
It's just false.
Did you bring up
Nor-
MLK
It doesn't matter if he was
earlier?
shot in his neck. He was shot in his
Saved
spine.
by the
military. Did
Oh my
anybody
God.
correct you on MLK? The 30-06 bullet that entered MLK exited his body, re-entered his body, bounced around his teeth,
I'm almost
and then
done with this
came
part,
to
you
a
guys, in
rest
the
near his
space. I'm
Bounced
sorry.
shoulder.
around in his teeth.
Next time I'll have it dialed in so we can all
No,
listen
it
to the
fractured
same
his
time.
jaw, went into his neck, and
Where
freaking
is
hit
the
his
jaw
spine and deflected
located?
downward.
Where's the jaw located again?
I just
It didn't bounce
posted it
around
in
in
the
his teeth.
comments. It's right there for you to see.
His
It
lower
blew half
mandible,
his
bro.
face off, Gary.
Yeah. And it
It didn't blow.
exited his body and entered his body, and it had so much energy after it exited
There
and
we go.
re-entered his body. It created a bunch of damage after it re-entered
I
his
mean,
body.
I'm literally talking to people that are insane. Like,
So I just want you to notice Gary Parallel Testicles. He likes to throw insults out instead of refuting what I just said about MLK, which is in the ME report, right? It's in the autopsy report. The what happened is documented, right? And instead of refuting what I say, he resorts to calling me crazy, right? But when I start to return the favor in a way that's funny, he cries about it.
It's in the ME report, bro.
You are literally You were literally just just it's mental illness.
Gary,
Yeah,
There is
Leslie,
no,
There's
nothing.
no
that's
reason
not
to
fair.
insult
Blake, can you
everybody
put it in the
here.
nest,
This
please?
is so
Gary,
funny.
you cannot continue to just call names, talk about mental
And
No,
insult
illness.
let
No,
him
please
There we go.
do
let
it.
me
Let him do it.
finish.
Well, we can't continue to pile on him.
And it's
Yeah.
not. I'm trying to
Who's
just
piling?
intervene.
Diligent asked him a question and
Oh
he
my God.
started attacking
Like
him. Come
So
on.
horrible.
47
So
people
horrible.
I'm
before
just
I can
doing
even
this
finish a
guys.
comment.
Hey,
Before I can even
hey.
finish a
to.
comment, I got 12 other people jumping in and just playing
That's
games.
exactly how it
I'm
was when
gonna
I was
show
on
Yes,
the
I'll
you.
do a
podcast.
better job.
No,
Hold
he
on, for the
wasn't.
people complaining over on YouTube. Okay, he's going to admit in a minute that my reporting in Pankwitch is accurate, right? And I want to show this because this is a guy who has been attacking my reporting for the last year almost, attacking all of our reportings, Candace Owens, anybody else who is speaking the truth, right? He called my reporting a lie at first. He said that I didn't go to there. I didn't talk to the waiter. It was anonymous. The receipt was fake, right? They discredited everything that I was reporting. Probably the biggest revelation in the Charlie Kirk case and the Tyler Robinson narrative in the case thus far, right? Besides Candace Owens initially reporting it that it happened. And so they've been discrediting that work, right? But when I call him out after I play the interview with the owner, he completely backtracks and admits that it's all real, right?
First of all, I didn't let anyone
Yes,
jump
it
in
was.
the first time that you and I
I'll do a
talked
Crazy
better
about it.
job.
journalist
That's on
lady.
me. I'll be a
That was
better
exactly
host.
what was
When I
happening.
can one of you co-hosts drop a tampon down
the
for
interview with the
Paramount? He's
owner,
having a moment.
he completely backtracks and
Diligent, you are
admits
such a
that
little
it's all
bitch.
real,
Okay,
Seriously.
no more
right?
names. No more
First of
names.
all, I
Like,
didn't let
let's
anyone
just
jump in
have a
the
civil
first time that you
Yeah,
and
there's
I
no
I'll do
spoke.
a
reason
better
to
job.
just
That's
be
on
like
me. I'll be a
calling
better
people
host.
names. It's
But
like
he can sit here like
I'm
when you
no, I
guys
trying
don't
when
think
you
to
guys
anybody
sit here
should
and
You
be
clutch
just
your
answer
said
a
it's
pearls,
nobody
mental
should
when
be
you guys
doing
sit here
illness.
and
this.
clutch your pearls,
You
he's sitting there
just
telling
said
me
it's
to
mental
take
illness
tampons. When
because
he's
of
sitting
a
there saying
statement
to
he made
take
about
tampons,
MLK.
he's been sitting here talking. Everybody in here has been
You
sitting here
just
talking
called me
shit.
out
And when I
crazy
do
for
it, and
making
when
a
I do it
Dr.
factual
back,
Strange,
statement.
it's
when
too
I do
much.
it back, when I
no,
do
All
it
right,
back,
Gary.
you
y'all.
guys
Stop.
flip
Gary.
out.
No, it
Gary.
applies
It was
to
too much.
Yes, go
everyone.
ahead.
This applies to
Yeah,
Everybody.
it's like
everyone.
because it's
The
lagged
Hey,
on
tampon
guys.
does not
YouTube.
apply to
Please
me.
stop just
And
Correct.
Hey,
whining.
so, yeah,
guys.
We
I
are
was
So
going
hold
to
on.
do
we're
that.
supposed to be grown ass fucking
When I
adults.
was
Who
talking
is
to
that?
Louisiana,
Yeah, I was going to do that.
That was Wolf Dad.
Hey, by the way,
Okay,
Can I
Billy, I
speak?
can
also
we
Okay.
said
take?
in
Can we
Yield.
all
the
take a
purple
Yield to the
collective
pill,
breath?
co-host and
the
to the
DOD
host.
numbers.
Can we
Yield
all
to the
take a
host and
If you want to
co-host.
list for
wait?
anybody
Can we
else.
all take a big collective breath?
So
Just
I say something about him needing a
Okay, well, I'm
tampon.
just going to make a statement. I was paying attention listening to the back and forth between Paramount and Diligent. Diligent was making a statement on what happened to MLK.
You guys can
You
get on YouTube and
paused
listen and follow
Paramount, and
along
then
if you
you
want
said it's like
in the
talking to a
space.
bunch of whatever. Maybe you said idiots or
He
something, and
told
then
me
you
that
said
I
this
was
is mental
suffering a mental
illness.
illness.
Diligent, can
So
you put up
yes,
the
that is
YouTube link in the
exactly what you resort
Jumbotron?
to,
Yeah,
and
I was
probably
going to do
because you're
that.
not
Let
in
me
your
do that
live
right now.
stream. I
It's
can
Hey,
called
definitely
ad
tell a
guys.
hominem.
difference.
Hey, guys. If a host or co-host is speaking, do not speak over them, please.
Thank you, Jordan.
I'm always the host, bro.
Always the host.
Not really.
That's
because
what
we're
they
sitting here
do.
talking about something
Yeah,
else
you had jokes
completely,
there.
and then he jumps in. Did the lawyer tell you it was the 30-06?
Yeah, he
This is
can't.
like the
He's not going to be
Okay,
able
discipline
to
of
but
this
out
constant
debate.
nonsense that like we can't
but
even
see
have
the
an
fact
adult
that you're just
conversation.
like just stop. Like just stop. Like it
All I
doesn't have to
have
be
to
like
say
you
is
guys
that
just
we
keep
need to
going back
hear
and forth like
more from
toddlers. Like
Paramount
dude,
Tactical
I'm
you
just
can
pointing
what
out
makes
that
it
you're
okay.
making false.
especially when
Hold
people
on,
are
hold on,
asking
hold
you
on,
I'm
hold on,
just, I'm
hold on,
questions.
just,
hold
It's
on.
not okay for anybody to
I'm
do
just
it.
pointing
Can
out
We're
I
you're
talking
making
please
over the
clear
false.
one
YouTube.
thing up that Gary keeps bringing up? You're bringing up the
Sorry.
Chuck Ritter
You're okay.
hit when he was
It's
actually
almost
hit
to the
in
point
his
where he has to
shoulder
admit
as
it is
he's
wrong.
falling, and falls down, travels down the full length of his spine, down
The link for
15
the YouTube
inches through his
is
body,
up in
and
the
that's why it
Jumbotron.
doesn't exit.
Well,
You're
you also
comparing
know what he
apples and
was hit with.
oranges.
No. What I'm saying is, do you know what he was also hit with that deflected, which is even a bigger deal? Is that it was when Julian Dory is out, you
And
can
there's
say all
nothing
that,
stopping
that there's nothing there.
Spine
and
15
bone
inches
when
of it's
again.
7.6.
Kirk was wearing a bulletproof vest, ballistics or
He's slowing down a very fast high speed. I'm wrong on
So
this
you watch the
because sure, Muppet Night.
At first, it did look like he had something under his neck. Who are drawing conclusions like you did based on
right.
the you get other photos from different angles, you can clearly see that the shirt is hugging his chest tight, right? So, but
Yeah.
just again though, you are now attacking people who are drawing conclusions like you did based on
Right.
the limited amount of information that's available, right? The reason why you thought there was body armor and that there was a deflection is because of the strange behavior of his shirt, right? Which I know some
And the
people
limited
attribute
information you
to
had.
cavitation, right? But it doesn't look like cavitation to me because it appears to start from the center upward. If you got hit in the neck, cavitation goes outward like a
30 frame. You still can't. That even happened.
I'm
There
just
was
looking for the
lots
segment
of other,
where he
three-plate
admits.
armor. It's
time trying to fit a lot of research on this. I've
talking to witnesses that were there, right? And they don't really
Here we
exactly
go.
fit the government or the the official narrative, right? But I haven't espoused a belief because of all of these discrepancies on both sides, right? I haven't espoused any belief. I'm not out here telling people what to believe, right? I'm out here telling people
I'm not
what
telling people
doesn't
what to believe
fit.
either.
You
I do
are
the exact
too.
same thing. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Really? I am
What
open
I
to the
do,
idea.
here's what I do. Here's what I do. Every video about
Multiple
interviewing
posts. You made.
I've posted multiple videos. I just posted one the other day when
Was
she was
I
talking
lying
about.
about? Was I lying about
Here it
interview the
is.
waiter? You said I was lying about that. Was I lying about that?
I didn't say that you lied about that. That
Bro,
I said you were
you
lying
made
about
multiple
interviewing
posts. You made multiple
I didn't say you lied about
posts,
that.
right? Sharing that
I
accounts.
I said that you lied, that he confirmed that you had a receipt. He does not confirm that. What you say is, I have a receipt, and he said he had X, Y, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, that's what he had. He never confirms that you have a receipt, Dylan.
As well.
I was wearing a mic the entire time I was there. The entire time. Good, bad, and ugly. I posted it all. He says, here you go. Here's the receipt in question. This is the one, right? And the whole thing is there.
I'm not
The
talking about
interview,
that.
all of it.
I haven't even seen that one, Diligent. That's not what I'm
I
talking
haven't
about. What
even
I'm
seen
talking
that
about
one.
is when you were interviewing the waiter or whoever I'll play the audio.
Let's go for it.
Okay. The
Wait,
owner.
So he's trying to say, right, is that the owner that gave me the receipt, that pointed out the waiter, right, that gave me permission to interview his worker on while he was working on shift, he's saying that the owner is playing both sides, and that he gave me that information, but then on the other half of that, he is playing the other side. He said Gary's saying that the owner is telling him a different story.
Play the
Maybe
audio.
you didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, just
They
play
all
it,
went
just play it.
silent. They all went. I'm sitting on my phone. I'm not set up for it. If I send it to you, Blake, can you play it?
Yes, go for it.
Anyways, because it's not working right, I will spare you guys listening to Pair of Little Testicles. But anyways, he admitted that my reporting was accurate. All of the attacks, right? I reported this. I played this interview. It's down here on my X. It's pinned to my X profile. It's the second one down. When I posted this interview, all of these FEDslop accounts, Viva Frey, Paramount Tactical, I mean, it just goes on and on.
We can't hear you.
I don't know. Yeah. Paramount Tactical, Viva La Fray, it just goes on and on and on. They all started attacking me for sharing this account, for sharing this interview. And it just got worse when I posted the receipt, right? And then they all coordinated together to attack the credibility of this receipt. Okay. And then I shared this, which is a full audio conversation of my entire visit to Panguitch and talking to the owner, and every little bit of it, him handing me the receipt, telling me it's the right receipt, him telling me that I can interview the worker, right? I had all of it recorded. As soon as I posted this, they all shut down. And these people, they should not have an audience, man. I mean, I don't believe in censorship or canceling, but they have done nothing but lie. Everything that Candace said that she had was true. She told people that Charlie was abandoning the pro-Israel cause. All of the Zionists, all of the TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, all of those shills, they were all calling her a liar, calling her a demon, calling her evil, right? What did she do? She dropped the receipts. She posted the text message, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause the day before he was assassinated. Okay? Millions and millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors for years, and he's abandoning the cause, and the next day he's gone. Just think about it like Mafia, Godfather, right? What happens if you're in the Mafia or if you're taking money from the mob? What happens if you try to leave? Are you allowed to leave? No, you're not allowed to leave. They take you out, right? This is like the same kind of vibe here. And she said this, and they called her a liar. They smeared her. They attacked her. They had sermons from preachers calling her demonic and evil and satanic. And your wife should not be allowed to listen to Candace Owens. Shut her down, mute her, unsubscribe for her. Everything they could to smear her and bury the truth. The same thing with this receipt, right? These FEDslop accounts that I showed you, right? They have been right here. I mean, there's so many of them, dude. Paramount Tactical, Mr. Exclusive, Viva La Fray, Rakita Law. There's another like a gun shop account that's been attacking me out of nowhere. I don't even know these accounts. Raven Grace. I've never seen most of these people, right? A lot of them are the same FEDslop accounts that attacked me, or Zionist accounts that attacked me over my Epstein coverage, right? This when this guy surfaced, the 0 hour guy surfaced. All of these accounts I had never interacted with before. I've been on the platform for going on 4 years, right? And I reported on pro MAGA, pro Trump stuff for the first couple of years because I was a MAGA cheerleader, right? I was a Republican Trump cheerleader. I can admit that. But when I flipped on Epstein, these same Zionist accounts, and this is on the timeline. This 0 hour account started attacking me last July when I was really going viral on Epstein. And then and he was working with the Zionist. This is a Zionist account. Okay. She started attacking me. All of these accounts started working in tandem, attacking me over Epstein. They did it again over Fort Huachuca. And then when I posted this receipt in this interview, they all attacked me again. You know, if you're worried about Israel looking involved or looking bad or guilty, attacking somebody for reporting something that doesn't mention Israel makes Israel look guilty. I'm sorry, but it's true, right? If you had not come after me, if you had just left me alone and for reporting accurately, reporting the truth as I find it, right? Why? It just doesn't make any sense, man. You are creating a Streisand effect. Like this Rakita Law. I don't know this account. I have never fucking engaged with this account. I don't know that account from nothing. Why is it attacking me in my reporting? Is it being paid to? Is it a federal asset? What is it? Why are all of these accounts attacking me, Ian?
I mean, I could give you an answer, but
they're not all Jews, Ian. They're not all Jews.
Well, and look, yes, I'm sure that is the case, right? They're not all going to be from a certain ethnic group. The challenge, and that's why I really like and I think David Nietzsche or Truth Teller, I don't know who, but one of the two of them was the first that I heard use Jewish supremacy and kind of start tossing it around, and it stuck, and I love it. And the reason I love it is because it encapsulates a rather nebulous concept, right? And while certainly not all Jews are part of Jewish supremacy, it does kind of better or benefit Israel, Netanyahu, global, let's say, technocrats, and all these other things. And we look across the top of them and we notice a similar overrepresentation of certain interests. So much so, you might appreciate this one. I basically went through with Grok, and I played a funny little game, Diligent. I basically said, "Is it hateful to notice patterns of control?" And Grok said no. And I said, "If aliens came down and took over the media, the academic institutions, the politicians, the AI companies," and I said that aliens control the country because they control all these things, is that hateful? And it said no. And I said, would it be hateful if black people did that? And I said, black people are controlling the country. And it said, no. And I said, if Jews were doing this, and I said, Jews ran the country, is that hateful? And it said, yes. So, what is my point? Is that obviously we can't point in one direction. You can't do it on any of the platforms. You can't do it in any of the media outlets. You can't do it on any of the dot 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 dot. Dot. And so again, it's not all of them. There's lots of people that don't participate in any of this stuff. But when you ask that question, why are these people coming after you? And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that Charlie Kirk is just another card in what I believe is a house of cards where if you pull one of them out, the entire thing collapses, right? Because the moment that people recognize, and look, one of two things is happening, Diligent. Either you are lying to everyone in these spaces, and you have been day after day after day after day, and that receipt never existed, right? Either that is happening, or all of these other people are just blatantly, willfully taking any credibility they have and throwing it down the river without any shame by claiming that you are being dishonest, right? One of those two things. There's no third option, right? And so, unless we are to presume that you're lying about this receipt that you physically have, and for what it's worth, I mean, I would love it if you went to, and I think you have the audio clip, right, of talking with the people that work there, right? So you've got a number of different forms of evidence. But again, the people that are coming after you, and it doesn't matter if it's Charlie Kirk, doesn't matter if it's 9/11, doesn't matter. I mean, I noticed these people started attacking you when you were talking about 8200 and their involvement wherever 250 different former Israeli intel agents are working within Microsoft, for example, right? That's kind of concerning, right? You started going down these paths. And my point is, if people start questioning the Charlie Kirk narrative, it's not just that they question Utah law enforcement or the courts. They start asking, well, why is the media not talking about this? Why are all these influencers pushing this narrative? Why is all of this suppressing the people that are willing to ask these questions? Why is Diligent Dennison getting demonetized for having peaceful conversations and allowing different people to share their takes, many of which he, agrees with or disagrees with or whatever? All you're doing is hosting open discourse. But again, these the people that are coming after you, Diligent, they can't have that. They can't have you asking questions. They can't have you noting patterns. They can't have you putting together common sense, which is why I brought up that idea of asking Grok, is it hateful to say that aliens control things? No. But there's one group where logic, bloop, it goes off the rails. It ends. Common sense out the window, right? 2 plus 2 is 4 until you do 2 plus 2 Jews plus 2 Jews equals, I guess in the words of Grok, 4 Jews. And then that's hateful if it's inconvenient for the group that's in charge. And so that's why they're coming after you. Because again, this isn't Diligent. This is the biggest thing. This or 9/11 or the USS Liberty or all these other pieces of the puzzle. None of them are just in isolation. The moment people question the narrative, they question the Truman Show, they tune out entirely from this entire system. And that is the thing that they fear above anything else. It's not you voting Republican or Democrat. It's not you hating migrants or black people or trans people or any other people. It is merely you saying, I don't know if I believe the media anymore. And I feel like all of them, regardless of what team they say they're on, they're all subservient to one set of interests. And the moment that you notice that, you are persona non grata from everything, and they will come after you with everything that they've got, and they will take everything that they can. And so I apologize on behalf of this system we all live in, this tyranny, that you were demonetized. And I don't know what that might be worth. I'd assume you've got a huge platform, so probably a pretty significant amount of money, but you were willing to put that on the
Actually,
line
I wasn't
to
making
seek the truth.
I wasn't already making that much money. I mean, I was making okay money. I want to say in January, December. Whenever I started reporting on Fort Huachuca, it went from like $1,000 every 2 weeks or $1,500 every 2 weeks to like 200, and then it just like kind of dwindled lower and lower, and then it just dropped down to nothing after I got back from Utah, and in the same weekend, they suspended Harmony, my co-host, and I know people that work at X. And I had them asked to get a human review, and they upheld the decision with no explanation. So, I think it's interesting that, you troll Nikita all the time, right?
I also try to compliment him when I can, and there was a little bump when the algorithm seemed to go way better, and it was after he said he was going to change something with the followers that will now see your content, and I went overnight from tens of thousands of views or whatever it was to a couple million a day for 24 hours, and then and then he put up a post saying, "Nope, we're going to get rid of that," and now right back to the. I joke I'm in the nether realm with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and we're just duking it out, trying to fix the world. But Diligent, real quick, the other thing that I would say, that whatever that monetization was, there are people on this application getting paid hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a post merely to shill for the same set of interests that are going after you. So it's not just right that you lost your monetization. It's that you're not in the pocketbooks of these people. And these people aren't getting $1,000 every 2 weeks. They're getting paid, in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars a week merely to push out the very lies that are being used to try and discredit the things that you're doing. So
Well,
there's a lot of money on the line, but not for people telling
it's
the truth.
systemic suppression, right? It's not that I am, because I don't attack groups, right? I don't attack any religious groups. I don't attack any ethnic groups, right? I'm simply reporting information that I find, right? And I find it is, they have tried to cancel me at least like a dozen times now. And I mean like serious cancellation attempts, all kinds of smears, all kinds of lies, doxing attempts, everything you could ever imagine. And my audience has grown accustomed to it because I am consistent. I will call out the bullshit. I will report what I see, good, bad, or ugly. I'm not afraid to be embarrassed, right? I'm not afraid to be embarrassed. So if I need to throw shit out there to show that I'm being honest, I will. Well, since they can't cancel me, they will try to starve you out, right? If I'm independent and I don't depend on sponsors, or I don't depend on the system, I'm not getting $7,000 a post checks, right? Then they can't control me. So they seek to starve you out. I think that's why people who speak against the status quo are the ones that get demonetized, because they don't want them to be able to continue to work doing this full time, right? I mean, I have money that I've saved over the years doing this that I am willing to dip into my pocketbooks to go out there and seek the truth, right? And that's okay. And I don't care. It's not going to stop it. There are people that have bigger platforms than I, that information that is going to have the FEDslop narrative just completely decimated. That's going to be coming out in the next couple of week or two. It might even be this week. I heard some of the rumblings in the sky over the last couple of days. And if you think that this receipt and that interview had them frantic, just wait. It is going to, they're going to be blowing up in the next, not literally, but figuratively. They are going to be melting down. They're going to be crying. And the thing is that they have burned all of their assets, credibility to get this far. Like you said, Ian, these people have no shame. They will blatantly lie to their audiences, right? And the more that they do that, the more people stop listening. Well, if you have burned all of your assets credibility to get to this point, what are you going to do next week or the week after when bombshell evidence gets released and your entire narrative just comes crashing down, right? What are you going to do? Because you no longer have people that are believable when they sell the lie. You burnt that at the preliminary hearing when you had Olive Con Inc. You had Benny Johnson, who may or may not be, a $3 bill. You had Agent Poso. You had all of these shills come out and tell the American public that they saw a high-def video of Tyler taking Charlie out. It was a blatant lie, a provably false lie. Like, anybody can go back and look at the court transcripts and see that it's the same video that we already watched, except for there's 2 sections where they zoom in or circle people, right? And it's like a zoomed in look. It's not high def. It's not. It's just trash. It's trash. You can't identify anybody. It's no different than what we've already seen, other than there are some circles on it highlighting certain aspects that they want you to pay attention to. That's it. And so they have a hard fight against them this month, and Barron keeps saying something that I can't emphasize enough, and I agree. I think that Tyler Robinson's life is in danger. I want you to think about Jeffrey Epstein, okay? There's a very good chance that Tyler Robinson knows of a plot here, right? Whether or not he killed Charlie Kirk is irrelevant, right? But there is a very good chance that Tyler Robinson knows of other people's involvement in Charlie Kirk's murder, right? And right now, he's probably afraid for his life. And so maybe he hasn't said anything. Maybe his defense is telling him not to because he won't be believed, right? We don't know what he's being told. But what's been demonstrated over the last couple of weeks, with my reporting in Panguitch, with the things that Candace has shown, with what Barron has been showing, is that the FEDslop narrative, the prosecution's case, is not going to be able to withstand trial. There's too many holes. There's too many unanswered questions. There's too many problems. There are timeline contradictions. He can't be in Panguitch and in Orrin at the same time, right? How does a screwdriver teleport from the woods to the roof? How did the gun get to the woods? Did he go put it there? We didn't see that. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. There's a lot of conflicts that have to be resolved. The owner of the Ring camera said that she saw a bald man and 3 other people. Tyler Robinson's not bald, right? They can't afford for this to go to trial. They cannot afford for this to go to trial. If there is a lot of doubt in the public conversation, Tyler Robinson doesn't have a need to plead guilty, right? So if the FEDslop narrative doesn't hold out in public, there's a good chance Tyler Robinson takes it to trial. If it looks like he's guilty out in the public, there's a good chance that he pleads guilty to avoid the death penalty, like life, right? If that happens, everything that we know will change. Everybody will say that all of us who doubted were wrong, will be vilified, will be outcasts more than we already are. I've heard them planning about it, right? They've already been talking about, as soon as he's found guilty, all of these people, Candace, Diligent, Barron, Ian, Coyote, everybody has to be cast out of society, right? That's what they're saying. But if it doesn't appear that Tyler Robinson is guilty, if he thinks that he has a chance to prove his innocence, he'll take it to trial. And the feds cannot allow that. They cannot allow that. I'll tell you why they can't allow that. If two witnesses get on the stand and tell a jury that they saw Tyler Robinson in Panguitch at 8:55 to 9:47 p.m., this is just one example. The text messages after 11 p.m., right, that are pretending to be Tyler, being in Orem, watching cops, avoiding sniffer dogs, goes and gets stopped by a patrol officer who only gets a partial plate. Like, what kind of cop only gets a partial plate when he's suspicious, you know? But all of that falls apart. And the only logical explanation is that it was fabricated. Well, who fabricated it? Because the government's the one that's presenting that narrative. The government is the one that is presenting those text messages, those impossible text messages that were extracted with Celebrite, an Israeli forensic digital company, right? All of this comes under scrutiny as fabricated. Well, who fabricated it? Now we have another crime to investigate. Who framed Tyler Robinson? You know, then the focus shifts. Who framed Tyler Robinson? Who had the ability, the motive, the capabilities, right? Who had the motive? That's what it starts to turn into. Then an entire citizen audit of the Utah government, the Utah sheriff, the governor of Utah. It goes all the way up to the top, man. This goes all the way to the FBI, goes to Langley, right? If Tyler Robinson is found innocent in trial and the fabrication is exposed, a fundamental shift will happen between Americans and their perception of the institutions that govern them. An irrefutable one, something that should have happened with JFK, but now has a real opportunity to happen because something with their plan went awry this time. And I would argue it was Tyler Robinson going to Panguitch, followed by Tyler Robinson going to his parents and going to a bishop and being alive. They were not counting on him being alive. That changed everything. They were not ready for that. And I think that Barron's right. You know, if the FEDslop narrative looks so weak to us, like right now, if something were to happen to Tyler Robinson right now, in the midst of all of this coming out, we would all know that he was murdered, right? Like, it would be Jeffrey Epstein all over again. If they can get to Jeffrey Epstein and a New York federal facility, you can bet your ass that they can get to Tyler Robinson in a Utah jail, right? So once that judge says that there is probable cause, I think the chances of something happening to him increase exponentially, because you'll have all of this FEDslop media, all of the same media that came out here and told you that, and the Zio media, right? The Wally Market media, all of the conning shills, everybody that's been exposed as paid shills, right? They're all going to come out and sing the same tune and be like, the judge overwhelmingly knew that Tyler Robinson was guilty. That's why he's binding it over for trial. It was overwhelming. The evidence was overwhelming. Even though probable cause has an extremely low standard there, they are going to sell it as a lie. And what they're also going to sell, just like they did this last time, is that he knows he's screwed. He knows he's screwed. He knows he's guilty. He knows he's not getting away with it. He knows he doesn't stand a chance. And I think that's when, if they're going to do something to him, that's when it's going to happen. Almost every single person I know that I have respect for, that I talk to this case about, says the same thing. They don't think he's going to make it to trial. Most of them. I think that the only way that he survives and this we find truth and justice here, is if it comes out publicly in a way that creates so much pressure that they'll create a martyr by taking him out, right? That's the only way I think Tyler Robinson survives this. I think if he pleads guilty, they're going to take him out because they can't let him talk. I think if he fights it in trial, they take him out because they cannot afford for all of this to be seen in trial, where it's all scrutinized, it's all publicized, it's OJ all over again. They can't afford that because it shows that they have been lying, that they fabricated, that they're involved, right? They can't afford that. I think the only way that he's going to live is if truth seekers and truth tellers and citizens, not the media, not the government, not the quote unquote officials, right? Citizens put the information out there in such a way that it is irrefutable and unavoidable. And you can bet your ass that the same FEDslop teams that I've shown you tonight in this conversation, the slews of large accounts and social media influencers that have tried to bury my reporting will come out tenfold. It will be maximum. It will be maximum effort between now and September 1st to suppress any information that comes out, any information at all. That's my rant. All right, go ahead, Cuban, and then we'll go to Coyote.
And this is why they're monetizing you and they want to bring you down. Yeah, going after the truth hurts when you're going after the machine. And, unfortunately, right? But they're always going to try and poke holes on any evidence that you bring. And I mean, I don't know if you've thought about it, but it doesn't matter. Going back is not an option. And it would have been great, certain things that happened in that interview that you had at the restaurant that you would have shown the receipt. But I mean, I understand, I know, but they're always going to try and poke holes into it. Their next step, okay, he did, the kid said, he didn't say yes. The kid didn't say the actual date.
They're not even saying that it's a fake now, though. After I posted the entire interview, like the entire trip to the restaurant, they're all saying that it's real.
No, yeah, but they're now his other side is, but is that the receipt? Is that the actual receipt? I heard him. I was there, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. A lot of us believe you.
You heard who? What?
When you were talking to this guy, Gary. So he said yes, it was. He doesn't doubt that you were there and interviewed them, but that you didn't show the receipt. You just said
he was arguing.
this.
He was arguing his previous statement that has changed, right? So he's saying, I saw the first interview that you did, a previous version, which was like a one, and then I didn't mention the receipt, right? And I didn't include all of those extra details. I did that on purpose. He was talking about that.
Nonetheless, it was something about this receipt that says 9:47 p.m. and the kid said yes or something of the sort. You could go back and
he says
listen to it.
I said, and I have the receipt right here, and he goes
Right. Like I said, they're always going to try and poke holes in it. It wasn't a clear yes. Like if you're on trial,
it doesn't matter. I have the receipt and I have the witness. I can take this receipt publicly to the defense, to the prosecutor, to the judge,
and they won't show it.
They will not show it. It does not.
They'll bury it.
It doesn't matter. They cannot not show it. This is why this has to happen in the public, right? This is why I'm the Cuban. Please don't talk over me. Mute your mic, please. This is why I have to publish, or we have to publish everything that we find, right? Because it has to create public pressure for them to do the right thing. If there is a witness who says he 100% IDs Tyler Robinson on September the 10th of 2025, when the prosecution says he is 200 miles away, the defense has to put him on the stand, or they at least have to depose him and interview him and see if it holds up, right? So the more that we put out in the public this way, the more the defense will be forced to acknowledge this evidence. If they don't, right? If the prosecution doesn't acknowledge it, if the defense doesn't acknowledge it, it breaks the Brady rule. Okay? The Brady rule is this: any exculpatory evidence, any potentially exculpatory evidence has to be presented to the defendant or the accused of a crime during trial. Has to. During discovery. If they fail to do that, the case gets thrown out or it goes into retrial. Right? So they don't the reason why this has to be done in the public first is so that the defense can't bury it, so that the prosecution can't bury it, so that the police can't bury it, right? So that the judge can't bury it. We broadcast it everywhere. We make a lot of noise. We make it known, right, that there is something that proves Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk definitively. And I'm not saying it does right now, okay? But it has to be tested in trial. It has to be tested by the system, right? And if he's not given that opportunity, then it is a cover-up. Blatant cover-up.
Definitely. I agree. But what I'm saying is that this happens all the time, constantly, and it is buried. That's why you have to have proof that you gave it to who, and not you alone or whoever alone to give the evidence.
I'm not going to disclose what I shared, how, what with what. I don't know
No,
what you're
I'm
trying
not
to do
saying.
here.
What do you mean, Diligent? I'm not trying to do anything, but that's fine. I wish that when you asked Gary that question,
Gary doesn't matter. Why are you obsessed with?
I'm not obsessed. I just wish that when you asked him, do I have a criminal record, that everybody would have just let him say yes or no, because I know the answer is no.
He kept muted. He posted that I did. And then a woman who knows how to look it up, right, figured out that it wasn't me and that the person didn't even have a criminal record. They've been running with this since July. He ran with it. Well, you know what? Gary's promoting his business on his X page, right? If he's defaming me with a known lie, I've told him it's a lie. I've said it publicly. It's a lie. It's not true. This isn't true. Right? And you knowingly make a false statement of certainty, you're liable. Right? And I don't know why it cut out. I know it did. All right. You're liable. So when I asked him, right, I tried to get him to say it in that space. He wasn't getting talked over. He stayed fucking muted because he knows he fucked up. Right? He knows. There was a woman who replied to one of his smears and showed him that he fucked up. That's why he kept his mouth shut. That's why he wouldn't say any more, right? He doesn't want to be liable. I probably already got him on if I wanted to, but I'm not. But what does that have to do with the receipt, Cuban?
No, that has nothing to do with the receipt. What I was saying is that okay.
Let's go to Coyote. He's been waiting. Go ahead, Coyote.
You're such a good host.
But here, so I'd like to just kind of bring it back up. Remember, this is kind of it's more to this. This is a fight for everything, man, and it is. It's starting to. It's consuming my ass with this. I just found a pretty good clip, bro. I'm gonna play it here in a sec. But I gotta say that I told him last night because I chilled with the ladies, and I think that they're cool. I think you were right when you said that, like, Candace got the chicks on it, bro, and they are on it, and there is no wiggle room. You're not lying when you say that. Like honestly, they have no wiggle room. If they were smart, I know I know X or whatever. I know how this goes. it's done. I mean, it's cooked, and they're not going to be able to debate you on it. But I think that everybody kind of there needs to be something. People got to get together on this one, bro, because it's y'all. I can see it starting to spread around. Anyway, whenever they bring up their story and then they crawfish on it, it's very discrediting, and people got to realize that on the truth side over here, everybody is y'all are too easygoing on whatever. Over there, they're hard lined on it, bro. If you say one thing, they're gonna hold you down to it. Over here, you can like y'all. Everybody's so trusting, and if Diligent did one thing different or whatever, y'all are gonna judge them.
I'm trusting.
I'm trusting.
I've never been accused
I've
of
never
being
been
trusting
accused of being
before.
trusting before.
No, not you, bro. I'm talking about like the people on that, because like, dude, this is a lot bigger than just this Tyler Robinson thing. That Gary dude, he represents like the bad people, bro. Like the people that take money and do messed up shit. You represent the people that are on the opposite side of the goose egg, bro. You're not gonna. This is not the glorified side, but it's the right side, and these are the people that stand on principle, that stand on merit. You know, something that something that we got to get back to, and America is shifting, and it was very interesting. But people got to understand that about Space Host, and doing what you're doing. People don't. You gotta really take that in consideration. The dude, he's trying to get through this or whatever. When you're a host, you're just used to certain shit or whatever. And honestly, I wish they'd have let you cook last night, bro. You'd have fucking mop the floor with it, because that's how it goes. But yeah, man, I want to play this for you right here, because it's just I think people deserve to hear the rest of that, so they can hear what a liar that
Michener's not been a liar about any of this stuff. His story has never changed, but yours sure has. Your story's changed a lot, actually.
How is my story?
Well, it went from, oh, that's an exit wound. Oh, there's a bulletproof vest. Oh, there's this, to, oh my God, I'm Turning Point USA 2.0, 1000%, guys. It's the left. Go left. They're horrible. It's just everything's against, like, bro. Come on. You're the only one in this group right now that has had a story change.
It's okay to have new information come in and change your mind on something, and let's be respectful here.
That guy is such a cuck.
No, I'm not the only one that has changed their story dramatically. As a matter of fact, I'm not the only one who has changed their story dramatically. What the fuck, bro? It's like I just heard that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He said that. Yes, he said that.
I am not the only one who has changed my story dramatically.
I'm fixing to post it, bro. It's like, did he really just say that? Yes, he said dramatically. Even he elaborated. He brought what is that called? And that's the thing, Dilly. It's like you know, like whenever I can sense something off somebody, when I get that first, I'm really good at that. I got some. I don't know. It's a good. That's my pattern recognition that I'm good at, and I could see this shit last night. That's why I was dying to get up, because this is foul. And you're talking about that right there. That kid, his life is in danger. If you're talking about who would do it, well, here's the Department of Defense. We have it on record that they paid the money. He's cashed it in. He's trained. He's honestly, he's got a lot of.
Let's not imply.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's something like this is reality, because that is something true, bro. I'm on top of this DOD shit, and it's like he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have gone that way. The best thing they could do, honestly, is come sit down at the table with me, you, and just let's talk about it, how to reduce the pain, because I don't care about being all that stuff that they can do to people. It doesn't matter, or whatever. And this, I know how this show ends right here. It ends with a W on this side of truth or whatever. And because I just listened to them, they're running out of stuff to be able to crawfish on. There's so many holes in this that it's ridiculous. Tyler Robinson should get off. I mean, undoubtedly, just for all of the crazy shit that happened after the gunshot, much less the whole neck, being shot in the neck, no exit wound, all of these other factors or whatnot. Now them selling it as a open and shut case, that is a conspiracy theory. These conspiracy tropes that they're putting out there, I'm not understanding where they're getting like that. They're supposed to be the ones that are saying that about people, but they're the ones that are actually promoting conspiracy theories, and I don't think that that's something that they should be doing. This ideological preference it's gotta go away or whatever. Because if people stand on truth, you're going to come up
It's
here,
not.
and this is the side that you're going to be
I don't
on.
think it's ideology. I think that I think in my opinion, there's obviously kickbacks happening between pair of little testicles and the government, right? He acquired those contracts that you played the clip for me in private, or he posted. Those were after. Wasn't that just before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, or was that after?
He got you talking about his money?
Mm-hmm.
He got it the first one 14 days after, the second one 18 days after.
Yeah, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he says that that's for sales or whatever, but you're receiving money from the government. Doesn't matter. It's a profit, right? It doesn't matter if it's a sale, if it's a service. It's called kickbacks. It's called quid pro quo, right? And it gives people an incentive to take pro-government positions, even if there is no quid pro quo, right? You don't want to bite the hand that's feeding you. So you're more likely to have a bias against things that harm or perceive to harm your master, right? That's that works. That's how they buy people. That's how they. Go ahead.
Well, on that note, bro, it's like I'm looking into I guess to say the job that he was supposed to do, bro. All he had to do was buy a couple of things, and I'm trying to get I know I'm not going to be able to get that for you. It's probably going to put my name off the damn list. But it is what it is. I had to ask you, and Ian's up here too. I'm glad on that. So this and I've had and he's in the show, so we can talk about it. Matt Cardio. Okay, so here's the thing about this. I'm not understanding.
Well, he's
this
not
whatsoever.
in here to defend himself. So.
No, it's not that. It's not that at all. I'm highlighting that as an example. Okay, so Ian, if okay, so kind of how my mind goes on these things. If you have this whole, a lot of this fight, I see it as I guess you say, ideological or whatever. You have one side that kind of believes this way, the other side doesn't believe that or whatever. And that's a lot of the people that are up here. Y'all are obviously in it for the difference. But when you don't believe in that biblically, okay, biblically is what I'm saying. I've never seen somebody, and I'm just going to flat out say it. If I'm not used to seeing like Zionists that are in America that don't have that biblical belief of the end times and all that stuff. Ian, are you used to that? Like people just straight wanting Israel to have this, all these things that Zionism entails, because he believes in he's covenant theology, and I'm not understanding why he's such a raging Zionist. That Matt Tardio, and there's more like that. It's got to be money. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, no, I can, and I mean it's. I don't want to oversimplify and just say money, and I'm not aiming this at any people, especially those that aren't in this room. But what I can say, I suppose, is that the challenge and diligent, right? Noticing that he was demonetized. It's a good microcosm because again, that has to do with money. But there's really two sides to this whole equation. On one, you've got the perks of the job, let's say, if you are sending the right signals out to the masses, and those tend to be the one that are pro, let's either say the government, the machine, whatever you guys would loosely prefer so that it's not offensive.
The establishment narrative. The establishment.
Yeah, but the Fed, let's say, there you go, the FEDslop narrative, Jewish supremacy. But the FEDslop narrative, right? So let's presume you get perks to the job if you push that, and it's not just the money. It is Benny Johnson and the access to the White House, right? It is the ability to go on to the mainstream news networks. It is the opportunities
Clout.
to get your Sorry?
Clout, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Clout. You've got your personal, your professional, your egotistic, or ego-driven, or egocentric, whichever version you want to use, right? The perks of the job, and so those are outside of money because you got to remember that there's actually one other one, which is self-preservation of the ego, right? Because there's a lot of people that perhaps look at the deck or the house of cards, as I'm thinking of it in this analogy, right? And they say, that one does look a little sketchy, but if I talk about that, people might say X, Y, or Z. They might call me this, that, or the other thing, right? That could be a bigot, anti-Semite, a racist, a whatever. Take all those things, folks, and put it into a basket. And as if you were just kicking a soccer ball, just launch it into the ether and be totally indifferent, right? They will throw those slurs at you when they can't argue the content of your, let's say, argument. And so, what are the benefits? Maybe it's money, but maybe it's reach, maybe it's clout, like Diligent put it, right? Maybe it's all sorts of things. It is that they have these ambitions. And on the flip side, right, if you speak out honestly about these things, not only do you lose the monetization, but in many cases you lose your channel, you lose your platform. And if you speak about it the way that Diligent is with your face forward, let's be real. And Diligent still, and I really appreciate and respect the way that he's approaching this, especially because any counterpoint allows me to maybe say, okay, well, here's my side. And what we end up seeing is that the Fed narrative angle, it doesn't really have a lot of legs to stand on, right? But on the flip side, not only do they take your monetization, your handle, your platform, your whatever, right? But say Diligent gets knocked off of YouTube. They demonetize him here. He goes to another platform. You're not allowed to get monetized there because the sponsors don't like it. So Diligent says, you know what? Maybe there's just nothing to be made here. And I need to put a roof over my head and I need to put, a meal in front of my child. So I got to go find a job. And then he goes out and tries to get a job with any Fortune 5,000 company or any business that does business with a Fortune 5,000 company. And what happens next? Well, he gets a call from his manager. Sorry, you're not able to work here anymore. We got a note that you're a known anti-Semite. And Diligent says, wait a second, where was I anti-Semitic? Well, you criticized Israel, right? And that sounds hyperbolic, but it's really not. There are people all over getting canceled, getting losing their job, in many cases losing all kinds of other reputational benefits, let's just call it. And why? It's for merely speaking the truth, right? You are, for everybody that's here, if you're going against the narrative, I don't know how else to say this, but you're part of the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix, right? We are outside of the system. There's no perks, no benefits, no nothing except the fact that we are speaking the truth. We are sitting around that table eating the gruel, right? Where the guy talks about the woman in the red dress, right? There's none of those either, right? All of the lust and the materialism and the vanity and the fancy restaurants and all the everything. If you want those, go and just lie for the machine and have no shame in doing it. And what you'll find is that you're going to be chanting essentially the same message as maybe the person that Coyote mentioned and a whole bunch of others. And you get all the perks and the benefits. But when you put your head down on the pillow at the end of the day, you have to know that you're playing for the villain. You are the bad guy. You are the Empire. You're with Voldemort. And I'm going to stand with truth. Although I got to be honest, I'm doing so behind an avatar, right? Because if I do so with my face forward, all of those things that I just mentioned, they're very real consequences. It's not just the suppression of your account. I see Shadow of Ezra down there, right? A guy who's noted the exact same thing. He's got almost a million followers, right? And his reach just got nuked when he started talking about Israel. Why is that? We should ask these questions. Why is our First Amendment as Americans, why is it infringed upon because a bunch of technocrats have sets of interests? And wouldn't it be worthwhile to investigate if all those technocrats wear these annoying little hats? so again, the FEDslop narrative. Yeah, there's a whole lot of pain that comes with being just a truth teller. There's a whole lot of perks that come with being a disingenuous lying cuck and shill. And the only thing that those people are selling out, they get all the perks, but they're taking their children's future and they're selling it down the river without a paddle because they're selfish, they're hedonistic, they're insecure, they're all those other things. And so shame on them forevermore until they come to the other side of this equation, because at the end of the day, it's a holy war, guys. It really is. It's good and evil. And if you think for a moment that the evil people are the ones genociding their neighbors, lying to everybody, prospectively framing this kid and putting a bullet through Charlie Kirk, I don't know what else to tell you, right? You're playing for the wrong side. And so, yeah, no, Coyote, that's what it is, man. It's the paycheck and it's the perks of the job. And unfortunately, there's a whole lot of them. There's not a whole lot to be had by merely speaking the truth.
Appreciate that, Ian. Honestly, and on this FEDslop there, the thing is too, the beautiful. It's I know that's what exactly what David would say. We're winning, and it is. It's inevitable where we're going. We know what that's the reason all this pushes. Section 219, all this right here. The time, this is the best time. Honestly, it's like I keep thinking about that when I see the congressman. It's like I want to tell man, if I was you, I would start saying like, hey, we don't need to start warming up to the no foreign aid thing because that's where we're going. You can see where we're going. It's on track or whatever. So people need to keep that mindset right there. But and very very good words right there, Ian. Honestly, my thing is this. It's like they get all this stuff, even the trips to Israel. That's the whole thing. Like I know this one person. They've had trips over there. It's disgusting, and especially if you can't say that there's like a biblical belief behind that, because that is against everything that Washington said in his farewell address. Everything. You cannot be pro like multiple countries and stuff. You can be pro America, and that's not a bad thing to say. I think that the days of people coming up and trying to argue with that, like coming up here and trying to prove why we can be pro. No, that's like who wants to hear that, and why would somebody do that? And we need to call it. Like what are you doing? That
I
guy
want to
wants to
reel
be.
it back into Charlie Kirk, Cody.
Well, okay, let me play that little clip, the little part one more time because it's right here. I like this, man.
Their story dramatically. As a matter of fact,
I'm gonna listen again.
Are you playing it?
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No, you.
Oh, I played it or whatever. Here, I'll get it
Okay,
again.
okay.
I'll just
No, you're good.
exit
No,
it
I've
out.
heard enough.
Hey, but
Yeah.
good job, Dilly. Honestly, I know like days it's cloudy and shit like that. Times a lift up. God puts us through these things or whatever. You're strong enough for it. You'll be all right.
I appreciate. I'm good, bro. What do you mean? I'm here. What do you mean? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Well,
I'm
there's
about
been
to,
more pleasant days.
I'm about to double down. I mean, that's what I do when they try to shut me up or try to control me. I double down.
Amen, brother.
You agree, David? You've been watching me for a minute.
Absolutely, and very proud of you, my friend. And I really loved what Ian had to say. Diligent. I love the movie Gladiator, and when he talks about Russell Crowe's character, the dream that was Rome. And I guess it's emotional for me because I have such fealty to the dream that was America. And let's not forget that what we're fighting for, the people that we're fighting against. I mean, the investigative journalism is it's the most American thing that you could possibly do. It really is because you're testing the waters. It's a mic check on whether we are who we tried to be upon the founding of this country. You're saying, can I ask any question? Can I speak truth to power? Does the truth win? Does the veracity of a given point depend upon who owns the weapons and who threatens us, intimidates us, and tells us what we're allowed to say? What did our founding fathers, how did they respond to that? They responded the same way as John F. Kennedy did when he said, take 2 running jumps and go to hell. So very proud of what you're doing. I love, love the fact. By doing what? Asking questions. I mean, it really is. Voltaire really is right. The power is in the questions. And the fact that people want you to stop asking, it just means that you're doing a great job. And everybody should be emboldened about that. If you're on the side of truth, then you will defend the pursuit of truth. And everybody, without exception, that is telling you not to ask, that is trying to censor you, that is trying to bully you, that's trying to intimidate you, has forever been and forever will be on the wrong side of history.
Agreed. I agree. And I think anybody who is telling you not to ask questions or not to listen to somebody has an agenda.
And you know who was great about that? Charlie Kirk. He was so good at asking questions. He was an autodidact. There's another quality of great Americans, autodidacticism, teaching yourself, being the pursuer of knowledge, not waiting like a normal student to be have it crammed down your throat so you can regurgitate it at test time, never gaining the nutrition of careful consideration of what you're doing. But no, he thought, he asked questions, he challenged, and that's why he evolved. You know, I heard Jimmy Dore say today, and I have to give him credit for this because I wish I had thought about it because I make a lot of Truman Show and Matrix analogies. He said that Charlie Kirk was actually in a Truman Show that was built for him. I won't say by who, but it rhymes with Israel. Oh, wait, never mind. That's who it is. So, anyway, built for him. And he realized he woke up to the Truman Show. And as Ian's heard me say before, you know, in the actual Truman Show, I don't know if you've seen it, Diligent, when Ed Harris's character, the eye in the sky, you know, right before he's going to leave the Truman Show, the Matrix, whatever, Jim Carrey, he's the guy in the sky says, "No, don't. You're the star." But you see, it doesn't work if you know that it's a matrix. It doesn't know that if it doesn't work if you know that it's all like fabricated. It's all kabuki theater. It's all astroturf. And that's Jimmy Dore was making the point that Charlie Kirk woke up to the matrix, and that's why he started turning down the money. And in what direction? For free speech. That's it. They were telling him who he could talk to, who he wasn't allowed to talk to, what questions. In other words, he was making them uncomfortable just by being what? A quintessential American. I feel that you're operating in the same spirit as Charlie Kirk because this is his mindset. Just keep asking questions.
Dilly, hey, I was gonna tell you,
Hold on,
man.
Coyote. Hold on. Let me get into some of these hands. Hold on. They've been waiting a long time. I was gonna go to OM Gina, bro. You can't talk over these women. Go ahead, Gina.
Hey, Diligent. I was trying to look through your page, not exactly sure why you got demonetized. Was curious about that if you don't mind touching over it. If not, no big deal.
I have
My other thing,
no
okay.
explanation. I got no notification. I just know it was gone the last payday. And the same weekend they also suspended Harmony, Become Harmony, my
I seen,
co-host.
yeah, she's so sweet. I
Yeah,
seen that post.
there's no like rhyme or reason to it.
Okay, that really sucks. My other thing is, I'm not sure.
I still have
I've been seeing
subscribers,
you.
so like it's just like
Okay,
the X
cool.
payouts.
Got it. I've been seeing you build on YouTube and stuff like that, but one thing like I did want to touch on, it's not like, you need to go get a job, and I know I think with the
I
right
have a job.
people, and you do, correct. But I think in a way, another way you can continue to do this job and mission that a lot of us believe you're on. If you ever maybe take a second thought about launching a token, you don't have to sell it. You can educate people about it. Everyone knows.
I took one crypto
Everyone.
sponsor and they just ran me rugged.
Well, I think though, if you explain to your audience, you say,
Well,
"Hey, this is a gamble."
just DM me about it. I don't want to have the conversation right now.
Fair. Okay, perfect.
All right. I'm definitely not launching a token though, but you can send me whatever you want. Go ahead, Dr. Strange.
Hi, Diligent. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on your YouTube channel. It's amazing. I saw that last time I checked, there was over 1,000 listeners. So mad props to you. I'm glad you're, cross-pollinating the message into multiple platforms. That's the way to go. And that ramped up rather quickly because I know you have what you're presenting is fairly attractive to a lot of people. So I'm glad we're doing it there as well. No, one of the principles that I subscribe to is that if I believe I'm on the truth and the opposition is lying, then I want the opposition to speak as much as possible. Because what's interesting is that the more they speak, the heavier the weight of the lie becomes. And especially in a setting where people can pose questions. And because when people lie, it leads to more lies. And then as they continue to try to fit a circle in a square, it completely exposes themselves. So that's why I loved some of these spaces that have been happening recently where people are getting exposed. And we saw it firsthand. Any idiot that was there could see the bullshit that's been pushing left, center, and right. The other thing I want to mention is that all those paid propagandist shills who are basically getting a few shekels for pushing a certain narrative, they are literally playing with their career because they've got nothing else, right? And if this shit if this shit hits the fan and all of a sudden they're exposed, these people they haven't realized that this can come back and completely shoot their credibility where they will not nobody was going to listen to them anymore, and they're going to have a much bigger domino effect of losing in the long term than whatever they're gaining now for pushing these Fed narratives or pushing whatever narrative that they're pushing. Another point that I wanted to raise is that now I don't know if you noticed this, but if you criticize Israel or mention anything about Israel, they conflate it as an attack on Jews and Jewish people in America. It's a it's a common tactic strategy that I've seen over and over and over. Even when you don't say anything about Jews, it's like, oh, you're attacking Jews. It's just ridiculous. And the last thing I wanted to say is that, and I think this is very clear to many people now, right? When you go and listen to a lot of these people from TPUSA, the likes of Gary and others, they're like, oh, the reason why Candace, you, and others are doing this is because they want to make money. This is a means of them making money, even though you've just been demonetized. And Candace has numerous lawsuits against her. If people wanted to make money, they would actually go on the Fed narrative. And I can guarantee you
Oh,
there are
I could
plenty of
make mad
billionaires.
money right now if I wanted to flip.
I believe it. I believe it. The money is on the other side, right? If you are on this side, you get trampled on. They put the weight of the platforms against you. They put everything at you. And so this BS that, oh, these people are after money. If Candace and others wanted to make money, similar to Charlie, the very act that Charlie actually turned against, he turned himself against the billionaire donors who wanted him to push a narrative. And he basically turned around and pushed it hard against it. And this is where we think, he landed. And there's plenty of reason to believe that they may have had something to do with it. God knows, but we'll find out hopefully soon. So I hope that's clear to people that if you want to make money, it's the other side that's going to give you loads of money so long as you join that Fed
Let's
narrative
not
BS.
encourage people to sign up.
I hope not, but it will be short lived. I'll tell you this, because this I think similar to what you said earlier, and I've said the same thing. The hand of God, I could see the hand of God in all of this because I think there will be a massive change coming, and I pray that we're always on the right side of that, so we get blessed by it as well. I'll land there, but thanks again. I appreciate it. And please, if you don't have a YouTube, if you're not following Diligent on YouTube, please subscribe to his channel there as well. So this way, in case you drop X or you're only on YouTube, at least we can hear you there.
Well,
Thank
and
you.
I just want to add something for the people who are taking money for the the instant gratification or the perceived clout. You're losing credibility. It's not real clout. It's the facade. It's the perception of clout and growth. It's not organic. And if you're doing it for money, you can't take it with you. You can't take money with you. Your life could end tonight, could end tomorrow, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And all that you have are the impacts that you have that can last into the future. Your legacy. We have our children. That's what I have. My legacy is my child, right? And everything that I do is with that in mind. That's my driving force. The things that I believe in, the Constitution, freedom, all of those things, those fundamental values, they help create my worldview and help drive the decisions that I make. And money is not one of them. Money is a means to an end to me. I am able to operate with money. I'm able to achieve things that I want to achieve as far as my overall mission goes. But having a wealthy child doesn't create a better future for our children, right? You can take money today to sell a lie at the expense of your soul and your children's futures, right? And there will be a day where you have to reconcile that. There will be a reckoning. I guarantee you, whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in God or not, whether you're a Christian or anything else, there will be an accounting. There always is. Every time. Either in this life or afterwards. So I don't know, man. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your access. I don't care about your clout, which is why they came after me when I flipped on Epstein. They tried to politely coerce me to start talking about other things, and I refused. And when I refused, they stopped being polite, right? And then they got aggressive, and then they got nasty, and now they're really nasty. But the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter how ugly they are. It doesn't matter what names they call you. It doesn't matter what lies they say about you. The truth is the truth, and it will stand on its own. It doesn't have to be sold. It just needs to see the light of day. That's all it needs. And it's irrefutable. That's why they all backed down when I posted that whole trip of me going to Cowboy's Diner, right? They can no longer sell a lie. They can no longer attack my character. They can no longer attack my integrity because the truth was irrefutable. That's why we have to get the truth of what happened with Charlie Kirk out this month. Because if they're not exposed in the next 30 or so days, 35 days, then there's a good chance that the truth is going to get buried. It's not going to see the light of day. And all of the sinister and evil machinations that have borne fruit for them, whatever plots and schemes, TPUSA, foreign policy, American evangelical Christians, Christian Zionists, their foothold on a lot of power and influence that was illegitimately got will go unchallenged. The only way that we challenge that is with the truth. And I think that's going to happen regardless of our efforts or not. I have seen too many occurrences, too much evidence that a power greater than mine or anybody else's has been making it very difficult for them to bury the truth. And that means it's beyond their machinations. It means it's beyond anything that I can do single-handedly, right? That means that eventually, somehow, some way, the truth is going to win. And you can tell by the way that they melt down, by the way that they freak out, the way that they lie, how frantically they lie, how asinine they look. You can tell that they cannot stand it, right? They are like a cornered animal, like a rabid corner animal that has nowhere to go, and it's on its way down, and that's when it's its most vicious, right? And so I think that we probably haven't seen the worst from them, but I think that their time is short-lived. I think that there's a very good chance, and I'm not 100% sure, but there's a very good chance that we're on the cusp of like a mass revelation, like epiphany of the American people, right? Where like the mask is off. Like we see that we are not a free republic anymore. We see that they will kill our brightest and our best and sacrifice them at the altar of the establishment. Not just them, but their martyrs as well, right? Tyler Robinson. And sacrifice one and then sacrifice another in that name, in the name of their evil deed. And I think that's what we're on the cusp of. These are very fucking evil people, though. Like super evil people that are capable of doing these kinds of things. Incredibly evil, sinister, soulless, emotionless. You know, one of the things that bothered me the most watching the staff of Charlie Kirk and the aftermath of his assassination in the first few minutes was the cold, emotionless looks of all of them. None of them looked concerned. None of them looked distraught, right? They were like just drones, you know, just without a real solid emotion, without any soul, without any care. I know I cut out on X. They're about to tell me that they can't hear me.
Dilly, we lost you.
Told you.
Can anyone hear him?
Yeah, I cut
Yeah, I
out
can
for
hear.
it glitched out for a second. I'm sorry. I am in a hotel, and so the Wi-Fi is a little spotty. But
Well,
it's
Dilly,
okay.
hey, I want to follow up on those good words right there because that's honestly that you just nailed it right there, man. And it is a lot deeper, and I got to get into that because last night I realized because I've watched you do the Charlie Kirk, and this time last night it changed, bro, because I can see how how somebody after they die, how they can have an impact that lives on. Because like honestly, talking to those girls last night, Kelly, some of the other ones, and just talking, bro. I haven't got to hear anybody, because I don't talk about typical shit in my space and stuff like that. And bro, they were just they're with that, on the theology, and it was just like, bro, that everything's snapping, everything's coming together. People are starting to see all that left right bullshit. Everybody sees that our Congress is cooked. They're saying the same thing. People on both sides of it, and it's like, okay, that's cool. And here's the thing, Dilly, you're proven, bro. This is a skate through. I've been through it. You've been through it. We've been through all the ringers. Everybody knows that something will happen. We get attacked by a shit or whatever, and we keep going. It's like they fade out and go somewhere else. All these little evil whatever they are, and then you keep pumping. You're going to be here doing spaces in a month from now. A lot of people aren't, and that's the thing. But we're witnessing Tim Pool and Laura Loomer.
Let's not talk about people who aren't here. I don't want to do that.
That's where we're at. Ukraine, like people just. I just don't get it, man. It's like, where's the American? Like I'm over here threatened by this Section 2. This shit scares me. Biotech. And
I wanna-
and all. Well, it's just all of it comes in, and it's like when I realized that last night, bro, it was pretty damn cool, and I appreciate you, maintaining this because I used to not understand all the way. I'm like, damn, he's been going at this shit for a while, bro. You got to keep going on this. Now it's like, bro, I'll get mad if you don't do one of these. There's a lot of fights going on right now, but we have to make sure that people understand what is right here. Like as a American, as a human, like this is what's right. This is what's not.
I don't need to tell people what's right. I think that when you share truth, you don't. It's convincing of its own right. I don't want to tell people what to believe, right?
No, I'm saying like by saying it, but when you voice something, that's leading by example. That's what I meant and all that. Yeah, people need to go do their own due diligence and stuff like that. Most definitely.
Oh, thank you, Coyote. I want to go to Eddie. Eddie's been a long time listener, and he is. We disagree a lot, but he's usually pretty objective. Eddie, you've had a few days. I think the last time we talked. We talked about the receipt, etc., and then they came out and they were like lying and saying the receipt was fake. And then I published my whole conversation about the receipt, like my entire experience there. Eddie, do you believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk on his own?
On his own? Yeah. I don't know if I believe that. But what I will say, and I don't really, care. Everybody throws names at each other. Y'all call them FEDslop. They call y'all Candyland conspiracies. I mean, I don't give a shit about all that. What I'm saying is, man, if he was in Panguitch, right? Let's say that he was in Panguitch, and the 2 eyewitnesses are correct. It was him. He's in big fucking trouble, dude. I mean,
what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, the consequences of the FBI withholding that evidence from maybe the prosecution or the defense with their knowledge or not, right? The defense, I might say, that cannot come out in court, man. That indicts
the government,
the whole of almost the whole of government, man. It would be very, very devastating. So he's living on borrowed time if that's the case.
You agree as well.
I don't know if that's the case, though, Diligent, because it could be the other way, right? It could be a case of mistaken identity.
That's possible.
They could have, right? It is very possible. Now, if that's the case, does the defense still call them as witnesses, right? Because you don't have a lot to go on to defend this man. So, but if they impeach those 2 eyewitnesses, which they would, like if they have cell phone evidence that places him in Orem,
they would have to have grounds to impeach him.
Well, I mean, they would impeach the witnesses by saying, well, we looked at the card. This is the man that the card holder of that. And he also claims that he was at that restaurant. That would definitely impeach the witnesses.
Well, then you would have 2 witnesses. You would have the man claiming that he was there up against the 2 people who say he wasn't there and ID Tyler Robinson, right? And then the jury would have to decide who's lying.
Right. They could still call the witnesses. I'm not saying they couldn't, but it could be a very, it could be devastating.
And what if that card comes back matching Tyler Robinson? What does that do?
Yeah, then we have a whole nother story. That's what I'm saying. If it is Tyler Robinson's card and he was there, he's on borrowed time. He ain't gonna make it to trial, man.
And if that's the case, if we prove, that the whole of government is trying to kill an innocent man, likely involved in killing another innocent man, how do we, what do we do? How do you?
I don't know, man. I mean, you can use your imagination on that.
I mean, first of all, you have to get the trial to stop, right? You have to introduce that evidence and prove.
No, you kill him. You kill Tyler. If that's the case, you kill him.
What do you mean?
You would have to kill him. You do not let this go to trial. If he was in Panguitch and that was him, and they withheld
we don't
that
kill him.
evidence,
You mean the government does?
The government kills him. You don't let it to go to trial. Which I'm just saying that's speculation. I personally,
what if there was definitive proof, on top of what I've introduced, that comes out in the next 2 weeks that proves that the government is lying, like blatantly proves, and it gets everywhere.
You probably have riots in the streets and all kinds of chaos, man.
You think so?
I mean, I would think. Yeah, I think so, man. I mean, you're talking about a major conspiracy against the people, against our judicial system, against everything that we stand for in America. I mean, that would be unbelievably huge, dude.
Well, I think that you better hold your. I think you better hold your ass, Eddie, because
it would.
I agree with Eddie on that right there.
It would indicate a multi-agency cover-up, as Baron Coleman likes to phrase it.
I think that all of you should hold your ass, because I think that in the next few weeks that we are going to see evidence that the government is lying to us, and I think that it is going to illustrate that there is a multi-agency cover-up to convict this man. And I'm not saying he wasn't involved, right? I'm not saying that. I don't know to what extent Tyler Robinson was involved with this. I don't know if he was knowingly involved, unwittingly involved. I don't really know. Alls I know is that out there is evidence that the government is lying, and there's nothing that they can do to stop it. It's going to happen.
What almost makes it worse, Diligent, if they were using the man as a patsy to cover up their crimes, I mean, that's almost worse, man, than him just being innocent.
Well, because
R.I.P. Slumber Pearl.
then you still have a murderer on the loose. You know, if Tyler Robinson is proven to be innocent, the government is proven to be hiding, covering it up. Now you have to answer who killed him and why, and why are you covering it up? Why did you manufacture evidence? Why did you withhold evidence? Why did you withhold witnesses? There's a lot of questions to answer then. And are we awake enough collectively to force the government to answer those questions? Or are we going to get another, in 2 years, are we going to get another committee that's formed as a result of an election promise that produces no results, that gets 0 arrests? We get 0 truth. We get a bunch of redacted files, right? 3 million files, and you get 1 million of them, and over 70% are redacted. Is that what's going to happen with Charlie Kirk? Is that what's going to happen with Tyler Robinson? Do we want to continue the status quo, knowing that we have a rogue government, that we have a broken justice system that does not serve justice? It only serves the whims of its masters, respectively politicized, each swing of the pendulum, right? Only serves to enrich those in power or punish those who step out of line or who are no longer useful or who dissent. That's what we've become. And we have an opportunity here to refuse. I refuse. I am not going to submit myself to co-signing on the ritualistic sacrifice of 2 human beings. I think that's the end of the United States. If we commit ourselves to that fate, there's no going back. We don't deserve to be redeemed, right? If you are apathetic to knowing that this kid probably didn't kill Charlie Kirk, and you're okay with it just so that things can remain the same, just so that the boat doesn't get rocked, then you are complicit in my mind. And collectively, we're complicit. I think that we have a duty to get to the truth here.
It's the moral compass. It's
no. Go ahead, Eddie.
Well, on the other hand, let's say it does come back and they prove that it wasn't Tyler at the restaurant, and they can place Tyler with his phone records and everything in Orem on that day. Then what are we going to do?
If they have compelling evidence that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, I will admit that I was wrong and look at and try to examine why I was wrong. But I haven't seen any direct evidence that he was even there that day. There's not one human that was presented to us. That's Luke, you got a hot mic. There was not one person presented in 5 days of a preliminary hearing, 5, that 100% positively ID'd Tyler Robinson at UVU that day at all. Not one. Right? We were told that he met a TPUSA representative that day. If you don't recall, Officer Hull testified as much when he went there in the morning before, right? He went to the quad, or he ran into a TPUSA representative And then he went to the Quad, and then he left, and then he came back, and then he went to Chick-fil-A, right? Well, if he met a TPUSA representative that could ID him 100%, excuse me, Mr. TPUSA representative, is the person that you met that morning in this room right now? Can you identify that person? Can you point him out? Yes, sir. That's him right there, Your Honor, the defendant. That's who I saw. Why didn't we hear that? Okay. Instead, we heard Lance Twiggs. Well, I can't say with 100% certainty, but it looks like him. He's wearing a shirt. Tyler Robinson wore shirts. He's wearing sunglasses and a baseball hat. Tyler liked to wear sunglasses and a baseball hat. He's got shoes. That's what we got. We didn't get any 100% ID from either of the police witnesses, right? Officer Hull couldn't 100% ID him. Officer Baglady couldn't 100% ID him. Nobody could 100% ID him. As a matter of fact, the only witness in this case who hasn't even been deposed by any party in the case is the one that I found in Panguitch, right? Or Candace found and that I interviewed, right? He's the only one that says I can 100% ID Tyler. If Tyler met with TPUSA representatives, why did they wait until the following day or later that night to give a description? Remember when they released a picture and they said, we think this might be him. We don't know. We will take any tips. We need the public's help. Why if he met TPUSA, why didn't that TPUSA representative ID him immediately?
Because they didn't know. Or well, they would have shown that evidence.
Then how do they know that? How do they know that he met a TPUSA representative? The only way they could know that is if they have it on camera.
Wasn't clear to me.
We're talking months away. You're talking the next day. They might have not have connected the dots that the person that came down there and asked questions to the TPUSA member was the guy that did the shooting. They might not have connected those two yet.
The same way that the police officer didn't connect the dots when he had a suspicious feeling and only got a partial plate. Does that sound right to you, Eddie? A police officer makes a detention stop in the middle of the night when there's a manhunt for an assassin at the crime scene, and he gets a partial plate. Does that sound right to you?
Well, that whole story didn't sound right to me because, I mean, if you've got a major manhunt going on and you pulled somebody over at 12:30 in the evening and he's from out of town, you got his ID. I mean, that's super suspicious, dude. I would definitely inquire more into that individual. I wouldn't just let him go.
So a source, and I won't say what they do. The reason why they only run a partial plate is because it leaves ambiguity. If you run a full plate, then you have a documented paper trail of a search for that specific car at that specific time. And now the officer is accountable to that encounter because they've documented it fully. Right? If you only do a partial, that makes the potential suspects or potential individuals very broad. So if they need to switch the timeline or say, oh, well, it wasn't him, it was really a bald guy and three other people, right? They can do so. I think that's why. Just like the video camera going out at the same time when he found the screwdriver, right? You just happened to be your body cam. Well, let me tell you a little bit something about those body cams now that I've had some time to talk to people about it. The body cams that the officers wear have long lifespans. Usually they last a shift. Okay. There is a Utah policy requirement to make sure that your body cam batteries are charged and that you have extras when you log out to go, when you sign in for the day, right? But there's also another factor about those is that they have to log all of the metadata of what that body cam does. If it gets turned off, if it gets turned on, right? They also have a chirp. When those body cams are low on battery, they chirp loudly to let the officer know that the battery is dying. There's too many inconsistencies with the police narrative, right? With their job of investigating, their job with documenting, right? The Officer Bagley testified that there was a gentleman behind him going up on top of the roof that he didn't know who it was, but that person had a gun in his hand. How does he know that person wasn't the assassin? Right? It was just minutes ago somebody got shot. You're going to where you had a premonition to go search, a hunch, an instinct to go search, and somebody's behind you with a gun and you don't see who it is. You don't make sure. You have no idea if it's an officer or if it's a suspect. He said they were in plain clothes. Plain clothes, no badge. You're not going to find out who the fuck that is? I would. I'm not going to turn my back on somebody that has a gun and I don't know who they are. I think that's common sense, even not as a trained officer. I can tell you as a citizen, if I look behind me and somebody had a gun, I'm going to make sure they're not a threat, right? And 100% if you're an officer. I think that
it's a big deal, bro.
It's a huge deal. I think that you are right, Eddie. The things that I'm laying out here, these are just a few of the massive holes with their narrative. But Panguitch, and particularly some of the revelations that are emerging this week and in the coming weeks, are a threat to Tyler Robinson's life. I think that they cannot afford for this to go to trial. And they also can't afford to kill him right now because it would be too obvious. And so I think that the only thing that saves him is truth. Massive, massive light on the truth, right? Showing what this really is. And then if they take him out, you might have exactly what you're describing, a revolt, right? I mean, I could see that happening if he's proven to be innocent and that the government did this and the government's somehow involved with the death of Charlie Kirk and that the government is covering it up, right? And forget like why, but I don't know, man. I think you might see people I don't know. I'm not saying riots. You said that, but at least turn out in the streets and protests. I don't know.
Climate's right. Hey, my parents are cops. I talked to them about that body cam. I think you need to emphasize on that more. You basically, if you don't have the camera on, like it doesn't count. That's kind of what they said. They're very, very strict on body cameras nowadays with all the stuff in the
ever since George Floyd.
Yep. Very strict. People go look that up. Everybody needs to go look that. Look how strict they are across the nation. It's everywhere. They're very strict.
Yeah, it's all logged. There's metadata. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's go, Joe and Luke.
Hey, Diligent. Yeah, I just disagree that people would revolt. Like, you have a country where
I said maybe.
the
I don't
elite
know that.
class. Yeah, I mean, look, if having an elite class, donor class, who are pedophiles, doesn't make people revolt, I don't think they're going to revolt with this. Right? You had
I mean,
Epstein.
you had the majority telling the other people that they were able to tribalize it, right? They were able to psyop the base into thinking that it was a Democrat attack.
But they'll do the same thing with this.
Streets are getting
Just,
hot, Joe.
just,
Honestly,
just,
they are
just
getting
like
kind of hot.
I disagree. I disagree that this. I think that this is more potent and more, and it has a proximity that Epstein didn't have. Epstein's been an ongoing case over decades, right? That it is for me. I'm not everybody, right? Like I was an outlier. I revolted over Epstein, right? I flipped on the team. I flipped on the tribe, and they came after me for it, right? But I think this is one that they are blaming on Democrats. The Republicans aren't buying it. Most people, I mean, I hate to say this, but a lot of people.
Half the
Hold on, bro.
Republicans.
Hold on. A lot of people think that it's on behalf of Israel. Trump's taking us to war on behalf of Israel. Most people think that's the reason why. I talk to people when I'm traveling right now. I'm staying in these hotels. I'm going across the country. When I go in diners and I eat, when I go, whatever, I always ask the people around me what they think about this case or what they think about these things, these issues. It is overwhelmingly the same with random people off of the street, right? They don't think that we are fighting this war for ourselves, right? Most people don't believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, right? I can't promise you that this is going to invoke some kind of revolution. Maybe it shouldn't, right? All I can say is that you cannot fix a problem if you are unwilling to acknowledge that it exists, right? There has to be a natural evolution of these things. And if we want change to occur, you have to acknowledge that there's a problem. I can't promise you that the solution is going to come from that, but I'm not going to not pursue the truth because Joa says, well, they didn't care about Epstein. Sorry.
Bro, I care. I care about this. I just don't think and I'm not telling you to stop at all. Like I've been supportive of you. Like I just feel like people. I don't feel like people care. I feel like it's not that they don't care. It's they're easily propagandized. So like example, the whole Israel thing, they're going to scapegoat Netanyahu. And most American people, not that he isn't the cause, but they're going to be like, it was all him. We're not really like this. We're actually peaceful people, blah, blah, blah. And most Americans would be like, oh, yeah, fair. Right. And they let it go. And they're going to find the solution for this, too. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem is people need to wake up to the propaganda that they face on a daily basis.
I think the fact that we have so many people who are not buying the bullshit shows you that the propaganda is not working like it used to. I would argue,
it's getting better.
I would argue that the erratic and desperate behavior is a symptom of that loss of control. Right? You saw it with COVID in 2020 and then the midterms and even Epstein, right? But I'm telling you, the people who I think Eddie is a really good case example of your average, like conservative American who isn't totally immersed in this all the time, right? Like he does not buy everything I say. He's more prone to go with, I think, the Republican Party, right? Or the establishment. I'm not speaking for you, Eddie. But when irrefutable truth is presented in front of Eddie, he acknowledges it. You heard him say it. He said, if Tyler Robinson's in Panguitch and the text messages are faked, it implicates the entire government. And this whole thing falls apart. He's acknowledging the truth, right? He's not saying that is the truth, but he's saying if it falls where this is the truth, these are the implications of that. He understands that. I think a lot of Americans do. And I don't think that I refuse to believe that the majority of Americans are cows or sheep. I refuse to believe it. I think that they are whipped into a work slavery, a debt slavery, where inflated prices are keeping us busy and occupied physically to stay afloat. I think that we are inundated with social media to keep our minds occupied in a prison. But I still think that there's a huge portion of Americans that just care about their future, care about their rights, care about their freedom, right? And love their country. And I refuse to believe that they are just going to be cowed into oblivion. I refuse to believe it. I don't think so. I think that there's plenty of indications that they can still fight.
Yeah,
You don't even live here, bro. You don't get to have an opinion.
I really hope you're right. Look, yeah, but I have stuff to lose there, and
Joe, look at like
and
Section 219 and all the things that surround it. Plus, this is political
yeah,
violence.
I know. Look, what I wrote something on that other profile I have, the Hasher one, right? Called the Collapse Carousel, and I wrote this last year in September. And it says they print money, fake wealth feels good. Fake wealth feels good. People stop working. People stop working. Labor gap opens. Labor gap opens. Immigrants fill it. Immigrants fill it. Tensions rise. Divide the country. People get mad. Americans start to push back. Those that have nothing to lose get sent off to war. And that is what America does on repeat, right? And that's what we're doing now. The young men that would go up and fight, blah blah blah. They're going to be busy in a war.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That's enough, Black Pill. Thank you, Joa. Thank you for the pressing
the
statements.
thing is the disconnect on the. There's
I want to
trust
I want to
in
go to
government.
some new speakers, you guys. I'm going to go to Chivalry and Harrison. Go ahead, Chivalry.
Oh, hey there. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm bad about organizing my thoughts, but going back to how you started with talking about Jeb, I was thinking, like Baron Coleman suggested Tyler wasn't supposed to live, and like you suggested that, and I think there was like this whole pre-planned narrative, and there's a few things that just were like monkey wrenches. So like one, I went back and looked at like all of the oldest videos of like local interviews of eyewitnesses, and I noticed that like all of the videos that are like earlier than about 2:30, most of the people are saying they saw him shot in the chest, and then it's after that time that all the interviews start saying, oh, he was hit in the neck and blood was coming out. And I've watched two videos where two different guys say he was shot in the chest and they thought they saw smoke, and that made me think about the road mic. And then there was another guy who said in another interview he thought he was hit in the chest, and he said it didn't sound like a gun to him at all. It had a really weird sound, and there was like this reverberation that, and he didn't say it, but it sounded like the way he was talking, like he was familiar with shooting guns at a range. He just wasn't used to being downrange, where a shot would be heard. And he was like, well, maybe that's why it seemed different to me. But I thought that was kind of unusual, that all of those interviews started that way. And then I think Project Constitution or somebody played a video of this one girl, and she's like a blonde, and I think her name's Sarah, and she does this one earlier interview where she says she saw him shot in the chest, and she's being really descriptive, like blood's gushing out of his chest, he was shot in the heart, like, and I think she said she was in the second row. But later on in another interview, she's saying he was hit in the neck. So I think they were planning on it looking like he was shot in the chest, and that was kind of like the narrative. And so they had their actors ready to just kind of roll with it. And that neck wound was kind of an accident, and so they had to kind of do some damage control. And so maybe that's part of why they tried to silence Jeb, is for like narrative control, because they didn't know what people were going to say, and they wanted to kind of control what people said to media until they could kind of like get everything under control. And another part of that is like, if Tyler was supposed to die, then they probably had it pre-planned. Like, okay, as soon as this happens, we need to lock down Tyler. So we need to know where he's at, what he's doing, be able to get him immediately. And so, like, for maybe some reason, he wasn't where he was supposed to be. So maybe they were scrambling to try to find him. Because it's kind of weird that, like, if they were planning on just getting him right away, that they would let him go to Panguitch and eat a steak, or,
well, you remember when Cash Patel erroneously told everybody that they had him?
Yeah. That's right.
And then walked it back?
Yeah, that's right. That's interesting. So that's kind of what was on my mind. And then, especially the interviews where the people said they saw smoke. There were like 2 people that said they saw it, and then one that just said it didn't sound.
Can you send me those clips?
Yeah, I'll send you all of them. I was actually, while y'all were talking, trying to like screen record them, and then I'll edit them a little bit and send them to you. But yeah,
if you can send me the originals, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So they're like, I can just send you the website links if you want.
That's what I would rather prefer.
Okay, I'll do that.
I have ways to download the original source without having to screen record it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess that's most of what I got. Yeah, I was also thinking about what I don't. I think Eddie was talking about. Like when something comes out, some big revelation, like how are people going to react? Are people going to panic? And I think it can go like one of 2 ways. People are going to freak out, or else, people are just going to like shrug their shoulders and just go. It's like we're talking about like the government's acknowledging UFOs and aliens, and people are just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm going to work now.
But we don't believe him.
We don't have evidence.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But see, that kind of plays into human psychology. Like, we're all conditioned to think a certain way, to believe certain things. Our identity is sort of like wrapped in all of our internal narratives about who we are, what the world
We're
is.
conditioned to conform to reality. That's how the brain works.
But we're all conditioned.
That's how your brain works.
Up our perception of reality. Everybody's perceiving their own reality. Like.
Wait,
okay,
let's.
I'm gonna have to reel it back in.
Yeah.
I got too many hands. We're getting way too esoteric.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Terry.
Yo, long time.
Was I not next? You said I was next.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I said Terry.
Yeah, I was just.
He did say
the
Terry, but
stage
he
moves
said
around,
before I was
bro.
next.
I'm called on Terry. Go ahead, Terry.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't been around, but keep doing what you're doing. I keep focused. You were the place where people had to bring receipts, and I know it's entertaining to some degree to let people roll, but we got to hold ourselves to that foundational stuff. Can you prove it? And not everything is provable. I understand that. But at the same time, we have to hold fast to that. And I think you believe that too. So stay focused. That's it.
Well, thank you, I think. I will.
And repost the space.
We're going to go for like, I guess we can go for another 30 minutes. I'm going to do I can't create the link while I'm hosting, but I'm going to do a subscriber after space and a members YouTube, and I'm going to like dial dial mixing these in better together during that. And so if you guys want to like give me feedback or support the channel or support what I'm doing, there's a pink button on my X profile and there's a membership thing. And then what I'll start doing is I'll do subscriber and members only spaces after my shows and after the space. Because I do want to keep spaces a part of the conversation, but I'm going to be focusing more on YouTube since X is now demonetizing and censoring and suspending everybody. So demonetizing, censoring, and suspending everybody. It cut out when I said that.
Like I said, people need to listen to that. Honestly, if they're gonna, if they're down for this whole ride and they like you talking, saying the stuff that they they want to say, but they don't necessarily want to come up here and say it. Kind of you always help somebody kind of at these kind of times. This is when you come through for your people, or whatever. So just kind of putting that out there, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like just it's very very simple. Little things help. Little bitty things, people.
Yeah. I'm currently getting ready to make some more on the ground moves, and that's expensive. So I spent like $4,500 going to Utah last time, and I didn't recoup anything from the content. So if you guys want to pitch in, there is links on my shit because I don't have any sponsors. So yeah,
we can't have you dancing again, bro. Like that part of your life is over.
Shut the fuck up. All right, let's go to that guy dropped. All right, well, I was gonna call on you, Harrison. Go ahead, go ahead, Luke, and then Colonel. Luke, Colonel.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Dilly. Hey, man, it's been on my head the last few days following this with you. Is the keep Tyler Robinson alive, right? So I really think that's where we're at. And I know you had the conversation with some really smart folks that have been following this tightly, and their spider senses were coming out in their conversations, and you can almost feel the desperation in what this government, which I believe is completely in on this narrative, like facade that they're trying to build for whatever their purposes are, get into that different space, maybe in the after spaces. But the fact of the matter is, we got to focus on keeping Tyler Robinson alive, because while that kid is alive, whether he was involved in it or not, we know. I think we actually have proven beyond a reasonable doubt he didn't shoot Charlie Kirk with a 30-06. Like, that never happened. So whatever his involvement may have been, ancillary, whatever, Patsy, obviously, I believe that's there, is keeping him alive. While he breathes, the truth has a chance to come out for the masses, because we've got it, right? But I can tell you this, like, just having conversations with day-to-day people, they don't. Like, they are in almost zombie world now because of all the psyops that have been run on them from the Iran war, from all the other distractions. Can't call the Iran war a distraction, but all the other things that are going on in life and trying to survive with the gas prices and everything else. That's kind of where we are. So we're kind of like this, and you are right at the center of it. Thank you for being brave, because obviously you're taking risks in this big time. And anyone who actually puts their name out there is actually putting risk in this as well. But we have to, and so my question to you is this, is do you have contact with his family, and do we have a survival plan for this kid where whatever his involvement that he got, FEDslop into to become a patsy, which I believe is that's almost provable to me now, so that he actually makes it to a trial, because I think the judge's decision to take him to trial, and we're all feeling that, right? We're all feeling that. So I hope I know you have some contact with him. I don't know if you can elaborate on any of that, but if you could, that would give me some comfort that his family actually is, wanting to get to the truth of this and keep their son alive, because as you get into this, you understand there's a lot darker forces at work. Thanks, man.
I can. Everybody knows that I've talked to the grandmother. I have not talked to the parents directly. And the any answers that have been garnered were through her. And I just, she confirmed that Tyler never confessed to killing Charlie Kirk to his parents. That was a lie to convince us that he was guilty. It's why the parents weren't called to testify during the preliminary hearing. If Tyler, for 10 months, the powers that be in the media, the legacy and the new media, your Con Inc. liars, Jack Poso, Penny Johnson, et cetera, right? All told you that Tyler Robinson confessed to killing Charlie Kirk to his parents, and that's why he turned him in. It's a lie. Absolute lie. Right? He was concerned. They were concerned, but he was concerned that the door was going to get kicked in and people were going to get hurt. Maybe his family. And so he turned himself in with the help of his bishop to avoid a bad outcome. I actually think it saved his life. I think that if he hadn't done that, he would be dead. And we would all be thinking that he was guilty and none of this would be out there. I think that was what was supposed to happen. But something changed that along the way. They also don't think that he did it. Right? Well, I posted the text messages from his family member. They're on my timeline. Anybody can go search this. It is cropped screenshots of my conversation, and the questions were direct. And this is a very, very, very close family member, right? So, and I can also tell you that I know this for a fact, is that the family is aware that everything is not up on the up and up, right? Where they were not aware of that before. So like Panguitch, for example, they didn't know about that. They do now, right? His family, from what I gather, has been overwhelmed with all of this, and the defense has advised them not to speak to the public. So you have Tyler's defense team telling his parents that if they speak to the media at all, they could harm their son, right? And his life hangs in the balance. So they've kept their mouths shut. Well, the same lying media that told you that he confessed to them is also telling you that their silence is an affirmation of guilt, right? Why aren't they out here fighting for their son? Why aren't they out here, they're being told not to. So I can't speak for his parents. His parents are the only ones that really have the ability to really make some impactful changes for the truth getting out. His parents can prove that those 4 numbers on that receipt that I have match Tyler Robinson. There's a number of ways that they can do that. They can go get power of attorney from him, and go to the bank and said, I need all of his bank statements for the last 2 months, right? I need all of the credit. I need all the debit cards that he has. They can run a credit report and get all the debit cards that he has, right? They can go to his Amazon account and look at his purchase history and see if any of those are bought with the same debit card. There's a lot of ways that they can match that debit card to Tyler Robinson that would conclusively prove beyond the witness statement that he was there at that time, and the Fed narrative falls apart. There's another thing that they can do, and this is a very important detail that would prove that this is a government cover-up, and that is what time Tyler Robinson was turned in. According to Sheriff Brooksby, he was called at 8:02 p.m., right? 8:02 p.m. on September the 11th, and said that Tyler Robinson wanted to turn himself in for killing Charlie Kirk. That is what Brooksby told us, the now disgraced and retired sheriff. The text messages that start to Lance Twiggs allegedly confessing to this murder happen after that. Happen around then. If Tyler Robinson was in custody at 5 p.m. on September the 11th, and it can be proven, that is definitive proof that this is a cover-up. Okay? Because they take your phone. I can tell you from the family member that I talked to, I asked this question, and it was early afternoon. Okay? When they turned him in, according to the family, and that they took his phone when they got there. All Tyler's parents have to do is make a public statement or show some kind of Google Maps history. You know, if they were like searching the location of the sheriff's office, their travel history, any text message that said, "Hey, we're almost there. Hey, we're going to be there. Hey, we're here." Anything at all that proves when they turned him in could blow this whole narrative up. They hold the most power to alter the course of their son's fate by far. And all they have to do is make a public statement and later have it be verified. That's all they have to do. You know, I would be all over this if I were them. If this was my kid, I would move heaven and earth to make sure that the truth got out. Even if he was involved, if I thought that there was even an iota of a chance that there was fuckery afoot, you could not stop me. Nothing could stop me. I would be forcing the whole family to act as a team. I would be taking time off of work. I would put other people in charge. I would give people a raise. Whatever I needed to do to make this happen, it would be happening. So I really hope that they do move heaven and earth to get the truth out there. I'm not saying that they're going to be able to prove that he's innocent, right? But they should try. They should try, because I would argue there is overwhelming evidence that there is fuckery afoot, that their son was set up to a certain degree, right? Or completely. And the only way that we can find the truth of that out is if everybody's on board looking for it. They have the most power to do that out of anybody. And I hope that they do.
They would have to. That's just what family does, right?
There's a lot of variables in the way people decide to live and act and behave. And I know what I would do, but I can only speak for myself.
I will say at the bare minimum, if the parents or any member of the family is listening, since you're leading on this, that's a possibility. We have to grant that. Definitely would help to come out and say that my son is not suicidal. The political state has an interest in taking this guy out. The weaker their case, the stronger the motivation for the powers that be to take him out. So at the very
and also, conversely, the stronger the case.
Oh, I see. Well, so what they should do, though, is they should simply come out and say, our son isn't suicidal. There is no downside to them saying that. Absolutely no downside.
That would just benefit. There's nothing exactly. There's no downside at all.
The parents do talk to him, but they don't talk about the case.
Yeah, and which is odd. The one thing
because it's a recorded conversation.
Oh, I see. The one thing that I would take umbrage to, and my friend Joe, I'm sorry, but I think he's wrong about this. If the state, and this is very difficult because, like you're saying, if Tyler Robinson is exonerated, is a straight imputation that the state is guilty, is guilty of a cover up, and if that's the case, we're talking about a complete, the whole house of cards for the political state will come crashing down because it won't be like anything else. And I understand Joe's point of view because You haven't seen that. This happens every few generations in civilization. But it's not when people say, oh, well, there'll be riots. That's beside the point. This is a belief system. And you still have, there's still like a tiny little bit of credibility the state has. And the currency of their credibility has devalued faster than our actual currency. And that's where we are right now in history. So if we figured out right now that they were complicit by being in a cover up, then not only would their credulity collapse, but we would have a complete and utter political landscape change in our country and maybe even in all of Western civilization. Because then all of a sudden we'd say, well, the Epstein class thing is real. And also the blackmail operation did really happen. And then we realized that everybody up there on Capitol Hill, with rare exception, are just a bunch of criminals. And you see, the thing that the fairy dust that keeps them from having to go hide in caves is the fact that we actually believe that they're somehow legitimate. So it really wouldn't, we'd be the ones canceling democracy, not them. We'd say there's no use in doing this because you're all criminals and we don't believe you anymore. So it'd be a big thing, big, big, big. That all their eggs, they have all the reason in the world, all the motivation in the world, which is why I think the authoritarian censorship is coming back to X to shut all of this conversation down and stop this from happening. Because I'm telling you, if Tyler Robinson is innocent and we find out by implication that they were covering this up, it'll be a far bigger deal than anything you've seen in your entire life in terms of the political landscape changing.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
Well, and it's not even that he's innocent. He could have been somehow involved, or playing some ancillary role. But the fact of the matter is, I think it's demonstrably provable right now for all of us who are actually paying attention that he is not the shooter. He didn't shoot that with a 30-06. That was a complete lie. So we have now a complete and total all of government approach to lie to us, and now people are awake to all the previous ones, conspiracies, FEDslops, whatever you want to call them, just generational lies that are before our faces.
Right.
So as this comes down, I think that I'm telling you guys, the biggest thing we have to do right now is to pray, and anything that you guys can do to help Tyler Robinson stay alive. Just stay alive for another 90 days. And then whatever the truth is, it will come out.
It's less than that. It's September 1st. That judge.
No, but pray for 90 judge, so that it actually gets to trial.
I'm saying like you need to support people who are, and I'm not talking about just me. If you see people who are sincerely seeking the truth and investigating this, and you believe that, you have a duty to support those people. And I'm not talking about me. I mean, you'll know them when you see them, right? If you see people who are doing genuinely good work, right, who are bringing evidence, bringing receipts, not like I did, right? I'm not talking about me. In general, over the next few weeks, support them. If you don't have time to go out there and dig for the truth, if you don't have time to do the research, if you don't have time to go to Utah and get the information that we need, then support the people who are. Support the people who are doing podcasts, doing it. People who are posting on X. If it's not slop, if it is receipts, and I'm not talking about like, conspiracy clickbait shit, right? I mean, people who are objectively revealing things that were hidden previously and they move the needle, support those people. Doesn't matter if it's in the replies, doesn't matter if it's with a follow or a repost or, whatever, or if you want to subscribe to them or donate to them. Whatever that looks like, but collectively, right? If you support the nodes that are making a difference, I think you can have a massive impact collectively over the next few weeks. Because I'm sorry I cut you off, Colonel, but I agree with Barron on this. I think that September 1st seals his fate, right? If overwhelmingly compelling evidence does not surface between now and then that is irrefutable and unavoidable, there is a high likelihood either way that Tyler Robinson does not survive, because the government cannot afford for him to go to trial, and the government cannot afford for him to live. If he pleads guilty, he can still talk later on, right? It increases the suicide narrative, right? He knows he's screwed. He couldn't face it, yada, yada, yada. We already heard some of this on the last day of the preliminary hearing. The FEDslops lied about the video, and on top of that lie, and I'll have you go back and look, they mixed in, Tyler knows he's screwed. He knows that there's no future. He knows that there's no fate. He knows that there's no reason to live. What are they doing? They're setting up narrative that it's so abysmal that he's likely going to, delete himself. That's what they're doing. They're setting up narrative that he's likely going to delete himself. If that judge binds over the case on September 1st, all of those same people are going to come out saying the same thing. And I'm with Barron. I think that there's just no way that this case goes. They can't allow, he is too much of a risk to survive. You have to get everything.
I agree with you.
You have to get everything out. You have to give everything out that makes him a risk before then. That's the only way that he survives, because then it's not worth it for them to take him out, because all of it's out already. And if they go and they murder him, right, that is, they're creating a martyr, and they can't afford that. This has to happen by September 1st.
I'm trying to imagine, if it goes to trial, how the prosecutor starts out, because they're supposed to lay out like 3 or 4 of their most compelling pieces of evidence. And pretty much everything that we've been hearing is challengeable. Like the custody of the note, which is all weird, the supposed confession to the parents, which now we realize is slop. I mean, what are they going to say? Dylan, what do you imagine they're going to say, putting their best foot forward?
I think that they can't afford for it to go to trial. That's what I said. I don't think there is no way that this is going to go to trial. There's just no way. Which the only thing that is going to make, the only thing that can make that a definitive is if he pleads guilty or if he dies. That's just facts.
Okay, the plead guilty thing, I can, you know what? Because that, now I want to go back. Sorry, I just going to jump in real quick. Hope everybody's having a good night, diligent, but listening to your space first on YouTube. I did hit the like button. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. And then I was listening to it here. I'll make this quick. The one thing, though, when I look at RFK, this makes me feel like the RFK assassination. Though I don't remember if there was like a whole trial, because I know I had to go back and look about how that trial went. Because however that trial went is how something like this would go. Because the medical examiner had came out and said that RFK died from the bullets to the back of his head. And we know that Saran was shooting in front of RFK. So, I mean, that right there was just completely impossible, right? But I'm not going to go into RFK. But I think that it's something to look at again, just for reference of how this might go. Because, I mean, that had to be the craziest sham trial ever at that time. And now we have one today. The other thing, though, I just real quick want to take it back to the parents. Am I the only one who thinks that they've been told not to say anything? You know,
the defense has told them not to say anything to anybody.
Okay,
Or
the
they're in on
defense.
it.
Okay,
The defense has told them not to say anything to anybody.
the defense. We're saying the defense.
The defense,
You know, there's other
the defense attorneys have told the parents not to talk to anybody.
I know. I got you. I got you. And then there's other kids. You know, I don't know, man. This country works like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's as easy as people think, like, oh, I would still go out and say, like me, yeah, I probably would bang hard regardless and just be like, it is what it is. But I don't know, man. I don't fault them too much for not saying too much. This is huge. I mean, this is really huge. And I don't know. It's just.
Casey, you think
It
it
freaks me out.
represents like
Let her finish,
Mandalay?
Cody. Let her finish, Cody.
Well, I don't want to get too, you know what I mean? Because it's your space and I'm not going to go there too hard, but it does freak me out. And I mean, like, let's not act like people have been influenced or persuaded in ways that aren't, above board to act or not act a certain way. And they have other kids, and that becomes a factor. Because why wouldn't they? Because even if the defense told them, they probably still, like a mom would still be like, no, my child didn't do X, Y, Z or whatever. You know what I mean? This case, I mean, already with the reasonable doubt and all of that and the way how these people lied to us, worse yet, then Jack was so big. I know he's not on the space, but he was on Piers Morgan forcing people to say, who killed, literally, who was it who killed Charlie Kirk? Who was it? And why did he kill him? And this is how he's talking on Piers Morgan's show. Right? They need it to go a certain way. And I don't really see it going that way. I don't know. It's just, this is the most heaviest thing I think happening right now, believe it or not, is this case. And the fact that people, regular folk are like cracking the case. And that is a huge problem for them. I'll leave it there.
Citizen journalists.
What? Hey, on that point, Diligent.
I'm gonna Cody. Nope. Sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's 2 seconds.
You guys. Nope. So I just want to make sure I do some promoting. Make sure you're following everybody up on stage. Joa, that girl Casey, David, Dr. Strange, Colonel, Eddie, Coyote, Ian. Make sure you follow everybody. If you want to support what I'm doing, best way is by turning notifications on. That bell icon, all notifications on X. Over on YouTube, do the same. I am going to be consistently hosting YouTube lives and spaces mixed. Sometimes I'm just going to be doing YouTube. It's going to get more love here in the next few going forward. Going forward, it's going to be more heavily concentrated on YouTube. I am going to keep spaces going as well, though. So here in a minute, I am going to host a subscriber after space. And I'm also going to try to figure out how to do a YouTube membership live at the same time and kind of mix them like I am here. And I'll be over there for a while getting this dialed in and answering questions. So if you want to give me any feedback, give me any questions, ask me to look into anything, that's a good way to do it where there's not a lot going on. So go ahead, Cody.
So appreciate. Hey, and on that note, I'm gonna start doing some consistent on. I'm thinking about bringing the spotlight back for Mondays. But now what she was saying right there, it represents Mandalay Bay. It represents the Bobby Kennedy. All these little these patsies and all this government bullshit that we've been going through. Bro, the distrust for the government right now, it's at an ultimate peak. And David, I mean, I understand what David's saying 100%. I know where we're going. And it does happen every few generations. It's like it's inevitable to an extent. And I don't know what it's like. And I don't think we've ever, nobody that's living's ever seen this, but we're going to have to endure it together. But that's the thing about it. This, and Casey, I agree. This is the biggest thing going on right now. Section 290. That's there too. But this right here, what it represents just so much, and we got to win.
I think the reason too, like, I know, of course, there's important things happening, but this is the one thing that citizen journalism, people talking, promotion, podcasts and stuff, it could break something. Like I'm not doom and gloom, but let's keep it real. 219 that's going through. Not saying that people shouldn't know about it and bang about it and be angry, but this right here, why do you think, this is why Blake Neff started showing up on spaces, Diligent, they had your name on the top, calling you a lot. This is because the walls are closing in on them, not us. And it freaks them out.
What the truth breaks should be broken.
Oh,
and it's still got
you
to clear
don't have
Senate,
to. Wait, let me just make this clear. You don't have to persuade me about that. I'm all for. I mean, I'm up here, so you don't have to persuade me about that at all. It's just that we haven't seen, excuse me, people breaking things in a minute. Even with the great cough, because I know what platform you on, so y'all know what I'm talking about. I never say that word on this platform. We learned a lot, but who really got caught up? Nobody really got caught up. This one, they're getting caught up. They are desperate. I mean, I'm enjoying watching them be desperate. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, this is important.
I'd say they already lost.
All right, you
All right, you
guys. I have
guys.
to
I
wrap
have
up.
to wrap up.
We're gonna
We're
listen
gonna
to some
listen to
music
some
and take it
music
out.
and
Have a
take it
good
out.
night,
Have a good
everybody.
night,
God
everybody.
bless you.
God bless you.
I'll see you in
I'll
the
see you in the after
space
space
and in the
You got nothing,
members
Dalton.
members
space. I know.
space. I know.
He don't talk unless the
Proof is in the lines, receipts in the folder, coded truth in these rhymes. Power play chess, moving pawns through the blind, but a diligent denizen sees designs in the signs. They disguise what they hide, he just shows how it's shaped. Every source double check, never roll with the fakes. In this world full of wolves, he's exposing the snakes. Document every whisper, got the quotes and the dates. He don't chase what they post, he investigates where it stems. Paper trails never lie, follows links to the end. Truth is power, it bends, but yet it always defends. What's verified never shakes, even lost in the trends. So when he speaks, it's a lens, not a rumor or a vibe. He cuts through
Shout
the
out to
noise, pulls the
Unconfined.
proof from the lies. This is for the people trying to see through the disguise. Diligent denizen where the real can survive.
Unconfined made that song. I'll see you guys in the after space. See you tomorrow.